All right, where the fuck did we start?
Well,
I'm your host, Diego Crespo. There.
fuck you.
It's my co-host, Matt Caringa. Let's just get that out of the way, because this could be the longest episode we ever do. This could be the shortest episode we ever do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's not gonna be the longest because we kind of just wasted about 90 minutes of our lives talking Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, because Game of Thrones is fucking awesome, and that's why it makes it more frustrating when they drop the ball with that original show sometimes.
Diego's really hyped on A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Oh my god, it's so good. Everyone should watch it. I love it so much.
I'm two
It made me
episodes
so
in,
happy.
and it's pretty good. I'll say the action's pretty fucking good on it. I'll say that at least. So
There's how they do the trial of the seven, I think is gonna kind of blow you away. But
I'm really
yeah,
looking
just
forward to
that
that part of it.
yeah.
Again, I guess
Because
that was
mind you,
one
I
of.
also
Go ahead.
I didn't know. I know the broad strokes of the story. I know where the characters end up in the history of Westeros. I was unaware of like the events that led to the trial. I didn't know there was going to be a trial of the seven. I figured it would have been like, oh, Dunk is gonna like participate in the tournament. And he like that's not the point of the story.
Were you
Um,
expecting a very anime style tournament arc?
that's exactly what I was expecting. I'm not even joking.
I
And
mean,
what I
look,
got was
I
somehow
wouldn't
better.
have, I wouldn't have complained if that had happened. I mean, if
Yeah. No,
that'd be,
Game of Thrones should do an anime tournament arc at
well,
some point. Some book. George R. R. Martin should do that.
I was gonna say Martin's whole thing though was that he was like, uh, he's just like, I love tournaments. Like, I love reading about these like tournaments, and I guess like his one thing when he was like helping develop the show was like the tournaments have to look fucking awesome. It's like. And it's just funny that like that was his biggest concern. It seems like based on the interviews I've seen with him.
Well, here I want to talk about the movie here to talk. We're here to talk about Dragon Ball Evolution, but I should say because this is important because Dragon Ball Evolution follows a tried and true formula for structuring Hollywood blockbusters. Going back to Star Wars, it is like a attempt to follow the traditional hero's journey, like a very obvious attempt at doing that, right? And I think part of why I love Night of the Seven Kingdoms apart from like how charming it is and how like uh sort of emotionally breathtaking it became to me in ways I didn't expect because I'd heard it was just like I mean you and others were telling me like the Dunk and Egg stories are just kind of like fun adventure stories set in Westeros and they are from what I've seen and I'm gonna read all the books now that are available um but it's it's a story about a knight having to slay a dragon. Just the dragon's a Targaryen, you know, because the Targaryens
Yes.
are represented by dragons, and but it's also a story where like about you know like what do knights even mean in the world of Westeros, is it just like a symbol because like so many of these guys are just fucking like assholes like living off like the prestige of knighthood, like what does it mean to actually like go around Westeros like protecting the innocent and like justice and honor and like you know instead of like slaying a dragon. I can say this because you know how this goes. Like you know, it's like his journey isn't about like killing a dragon. It's just like you know standing up for like what's right and trying to like do something good in a world that seems unhappy with people who do anything marginally good. And so you get like that traditional like fantasy story in a smaller setting in Game of Thrones, but in a way only someone like George R. R. Martin could tell it. You know, thinking about it a little differently. He's not having a grand showdown with a dragon in a cave. He's doing it at a tournament with a shitty white haired prince. And I don't know. I was really blown away by that show. I think it's the best show of all time. 10 million stars, 10,000 years of Dunk and Egg. I hope the show lasts 50 years at least. Um, and I would watch the worst episodes of Game of Thrones over another moment of Dragon Ball Evolution, because this is a movie where like everyone knows it has its cultural standing as one of the worst movies ever made. Not going to be a shocker, but upon revisiting it, which I'm going to out you right now, Matt, that you didn't finish it,
No,
and you asked me if that was okay.
I actually did. I actually did.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
was in the middle of it. I was like in the middle of it last night when I texted Diego, and I was basically like, "Would you get mad at me if I just gave up?" Like,
Yeah, okay. I assumed it wasn't finished, but
but
okay. Thank you for clarifying.
I want to say, watched it in massive quotes because the thing is, the whole like when I watched the worst episode of Game of Thrones over this is kind of a bad comparison because watching this movie is like not watching a movie. Like it was so hard to focus on the film. I like I think I ended up just playing Tetris on my phone at a certain point, but like
Wait,
because
sidebar. Is there like a Tetris thing happening in the world? You're like the fifth person to bring up Tetris to me this week. It's a Wednesday when we're recording, by the way.
I don't know. Uh I found a good Tetris app on my phone.
Maybe
And
that's it. Producers, if someone wants to greenlight a Tetris movie, apparently the moment's fucking
they did
now.
make a
So
Tetris movie.
I forgot.
But it was like
But it's like
it,
a biopic, right?
it was the wacky story of how Tetris got to the West. Um, because
Sure.
it's a Russian game. Um,
Oh, right. It's like a
and
Cold War thing, right?
yeah, it's a cool thing, and it's like illegal copies of it were getting made in the States, and Russia doesn't have a concept of intellectual property at the time because they're communists. So it turned into this whole thing of who was going to get the rights to Tetris in the States. And I think it's part of the reason why Tetris is so widely available is that it's not no one owns it completely, and you can basically just do a lot with what like people own different aspects of it, but Nintendo ended up winning, and Nintendo launched the Game Boy with a copy of Tetris. So, which is partly what made the Game Boy so successful. That's the story. Um,
So what made Dragon Ball so successful? And before you get into that, I have the letterbox open for this. I have a bunch of other tabs open and like
uh-huh.
on the movie and the cast, because the cast is like both very stacked in one capacity and not stacked at all in another.
Mm.
But I see the ratings curve. Not that this means anything, because people like fans will like spam ratings on any public movie rating platform, right?
Mm.
It is worth noting I've never seen a movie with a 0.9 star rating on the app. Not that I don't pay super close attention to that stuff, but I did figure that was important to bring up for this movie. And it has exactly 181 fans. Now let me look at something also poorly received by people. Okay, the last Airbender movie has 310 fans
Mm.
and a 1.1 star rating.
So yeah,
And
it's
good lord.
and I mean I would argue that that's a better film, like
Yeah.
which is shocking to say because that is another like good lord what happened here type movie.
Yeah, that was one I think I was really bummed to not really find anything in. But it has much more going on than this movie, at least in terms of the filmmaking.
Hold on a second. What are the like other really terrible films like that could have a rate? Like, look, all right, The Snowman, a movie that isn't finished, that was released in
Yeah.
theaters, has a 1.9, a full point higher than Dragon Ball Evolution.
Good fucking god.
Does Letterboxd have a bottom 100?
I don't know. I don't know if they want to get into to that realm of
I can understand why they would maybe
yeah.
steer clear of that, but there's a part of me that's like, yeah, but what's happening? Like,
Yeah.
what do we got
I'm
here? Like,
looking at the similar films for Dragon Ball Evolution tab on Letterboxd, and some of this it's just mean. It's not intentional. I'm sure there's some
mm,
algorithm behind it.
yeah,
But the immediate top 5 similar ones are The Last Airbender, which we just talked about,
mhm.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Let me look at the little rating on there. 1.5.
Oh
That
boy,
movie's rated higher than this. Michael Bay's first Transformers,
that's gonna have like fucking 8,000 stars though, because Letterboxd is full of fucking psychopaths who love that movie.
Yeah,
So
3.3
that's
stars on
that
average.
is that is absurd
No, it's a
for.
great movie.
Hold on, I'm doing all the Transformers movies real quick. All right, so we got
Okay.
3.3 for the fucking first one, Revenge of the Fallen. This better not. All right, that's a 2.7. That's at least lower.
Yeah.
So like,
Did
fucking
I
give
tell
me
you my
that.
take on that movie?
That it's good.
No, 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 no. But for the first, like, I would say hour and a half, I'm like, this isn't like great, but like it, it looks like a movie. It's mostly movie like a movie, so I'm not like angry. And the last like hour, like no fucking joke, it's like the same set piece that just goes on and on. And I was watching it with some friends casually, and we were like, "Oh, that's right. Like this is why it's considered like one of the worst movies ever. Like this fucking sucks. Like it's
Same
really
year as Dragon Ball
bad."
Evolution, by the way. So
God, is that the worst year in human history?
that's the writer strike year. That's the
Yeah,
consequences
the
of
dumping
the
ground.
writer strike hit like a dozen movies, and
Yeah,
that
literally
was
15 9/11s.
yeah. I mean, a lot of there's a lot of stuff there where like there's a lot of movies where it's. I mean, X-Men Origins Wolverine is that year. Like there's a lot of movies from that year where suddenly they just stopped working, right? Like something
Yeah.
happened where the movie like maybe was okay for a certain period of time, and then suddenly the thing just stops. It's the worst Final Destination is from that year. The Final Destination. Um, I'm just looking at The Lovely Bones, which is a pretty terrible movie. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which is actually one of the better later Harry Potter movies. That's kind of crazy. That one snuck
Yeah,
in
I
there.
really like that one. But
Um,
yeah, all the big movies that year were like for the most part really rough.
yeah.
Like I've come around to Avatar now, but I've talked about it before where like I think part of the huge reception for that movie at that time was that like
It came
that
off
year
a
was
yeah, I was
a
just gonna
wasteland.
here's
It
another
it
one.
feels like a miracle.
Here's another one that is clearly was affected by the wrist strike, Terminator Salvation. Um,
Yep,
that's
that's
another one
right.
that was very clearly affected by the writer's strike. So yeah, I mean there's Halloween 2. Do you think we don't throw Halloween 2 in there? Because that just I know people defend that movie, but it also feels like a movie where no one was steering the boat correctly.
No, I'm a big defender of that one,
Oh my
but I
God,
also I
this
think
is
that
a
movie's pure Rob Zombie.
this movie is so terrible. G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra is that year. Um,
I've been meaning to rewatch that because I like Steven Summers a lot.
I do too,
So I want to give that one a fair shake.
but fuck that movie. Um,
Yeah. Law Abiding Citizen. Do you remember that
I
one?
do remember that movie.
Yeah.
Um, Pandorum.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh,
One of the many Alien ripoffs.
yeah. Well, it's like this is a good
Oh, the My
premise, and
Bloody
then
Valentine remake.
people like that movie.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at like more franchise. I mean, all right, remember Land of the Lost is 2009 too,
Yeah.
which is a disaster of a movie. Like just oh God, Push. Remember Push?
Yep.
Was Push the one there's so this is how bad fucking movies were for a little bit. There was Push and remember Jumper. There was another one called Jumper.
I do
Ever
remember Jumper. Jumper
Jumper
was
was
very popular for our generation for some reason.
Jumper was like the year before, and they might as well, in my mind, they might as well be the same movie. Um, Hayden Christensen is the lead of Jumper. Um, I believe one of them was either conceived or straight up shot with like young teenagers as the main cast. One of those they straight up made the movie with a young cast, and then someone somewhere was like, "We need to have adults as the leads of this movie," so they reshot most of the movie to make the characters adults.
I
It
feel
happened.
like that's probably Jumper.
Yeah, it happened to one of them. I can't, I off the top of my head, but it does sound like it's. Oh, remember Ninja Assassin?
I remember the existence of it.
From the director of V for Vendetta.
Oh.
It was the guy who made that was the assistant
Oh
director
no.
on the Matrix films. So like the Wachowskis produced both those movies. They're not good
Oh
though.
yeah.
Um,
No,
that's
no.
that era.
Oh,
Like, are the Wachowskis going to be a brand? And then it was very clearly no. But
no, no. They're too unique to be a brand,
no,
thankfully.
they are. But
Yeah,
what
well,
what a better world?
Twilight
What a
New
better
Moon.
world? Ooh, that was one. That was one where is that the third or second one?
That's the second one.
Okay.
I like look. I don't hate those movies. I find them very charming. The same way I find Michael Bay the Transformers movies charming now, and in their own fucked up, unique way,
Mm.
right? Like not to get gender specific, but for a while I was like, oh, Transformers is like the Bayformers is for boys what Twilight is for teen girls, right? Like for that like
Yeah.
culture brain rotting mindset. Again, not to be too gender specific about it, but that's just
No,
how I
I know.
kind of tallied them up in my brain for a while. And New Moon is totally the Revenge of the Fallen of the Twilight franchise. Like
Best one of the
it's
series.
the worst one of the series.
No, best one. It's not even close.
You're out of your fucking mind.
New Moon is easily the best of the Twilight films.
You are going to hell.
I have it at 4 stars on Letterboxd.
That's fucking absurd.
It's the
What
worst
you
one.
have to explain that now.
Because it is just pure the emotions of what those stories are. Like they just there's no real attempt to tell like any sort of interesting narrative with it. It's just a girl being sad. Look, she's like driving her motorcycle off cliffs just so she can have a vision of her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
No, that's funny. The movie is like almost 2 hours long, I think.
What
So
more accurately
it is
captures
over 2 hours long.
what more accurately captures teenage love than that, though?
Okay, sure, but there's a movie around that that's a slog.
Okay, what happens in Eclipse?
Oh, that's the one with the werewolves and the vampires have to team up to fight the more evil vampire for the first time. That's fun.
Does that actually happen
David
in
Slade
that?
directed that one. Yeah. David Slade directed that one. That one's got some good stuff in it.
I gave that one 2 stars.
Oh, boo.
I think the ones.
And
Hey, shut the fuck up! You gave it 2 stars too, you idiot.
yeah, but I like it.
I
So
think the one I really hated was Breaking Dawn Part 1.
yes,
That's the one where
yeah,
like
that one might be the worst actually.
that one like literally nothing happens in it. Like,
Yeah, I remember because like Harry Potter had like kind of started the part one, part two thing, right?
mhm,
And I'm a big defender of Deathly Hallows Part One.
mhm,
And then when Breaking Dawn Part One came out, I was like, no, that's what you guys were saying that movie was. You
mhm.
know, like that is straight up nothing happens. Breaking Dawn Part Two is one of the best theater experiences I've ever had.
Breaking Dawn Part 2.
The movie's fine.
Yeah,
But
the
that's one of
movie
the
is.
most fun experiences I've ever had in a movie.
Yeah, it's Breaking Dawn Part 2 is actually pretty solid for what it is. Like, I think you have to the Twilight films you like kind of have to grade on a curve, right? Like,
Hmm.
which is I think to me why maybe New Moon rises above the other ones. Like, I
The New
just
Moon Rises.
yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know, I New Moon really kind of just hit well for me because I'm just like, this is just the pure absurdity of these stories, like without any of the actual bullshit that I don't care about going on in it. Like
I can see
the
why you
Volturi
feel that way.
the Volturi come in like the third act, but basically just to wrap everything up. Like they're not really they don't matter in any capacity.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I that was the one I was like, yeah, this was like ridiculous. These movies are ridiculous.
And I think the first one genuinely gets close to being like a solid motion picture.
No, I hate that movie.
Yeah. Oh.
I it does that weird thing where this is gonna sound mean, but it's true. Like it thinks it's a real movie. You know what I'm saying? Like
You think it takes itself too
I think it
seriously?
takes itself too seriously, while also like here's the thing. You would have had to fundamentally change the Twilight source material to make it a genuinely compelling film, right? Like there's just
Hmm.
the source material just isn't conducive for film. It's meant to be read in your bed at night when you don't want to go to school the next morning. Like that's just kind of what Twilight is.
Sure,
Like
yeah.
it's elevated fan fiction. No offense to the material. Like there's nothing. I do not mean any of that is like dirty words. It's just, but that is not conducive to film narrative as fucking what's the woman who made Saltburn's name? Um,
Emerald Fennell.
as she is as Emerald as she is proving currently. That fan fiction just is not conducive with film narrative. But it's like they I don't know, they clearly thought this was gonna be something more straightforward, and then like New Moon just totally abandons all that, which is I guess partly why I like New Moon. Like New Moon just like is like
Mm.
we're not even gonna pretend that this is art.
Well, maybe I'll have to give them all a rewatch.
Yeah.
Twilight retrospective.
Also, I did when all my ratings I'm going off of were like me deep in the pandemic when I was watching them. Like my sister and I watched them like deep in the pandemic, and I think I cried at the end of Breaking Dawn Part Two.
Oh my god.
So, we were all going through it at the time.
Yeah.
I ended my
Um.
review for it with choose love.
Good lord. What? I'm glad you're okay now, but oh my god.
Part two, fun movie.
Yeah, and it is fun.
What about all right? Where does Blood Rain? What's the rating on Blood Rain?
Oh, I have
Blood
no
Rain,
idea.
1.6. So
Jesus.
also higher.
Okay, here. Well, higher than Dragon Ball Evolution for sure. The last two that were listed on like the five most similar films to Evolution.
Mm.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens, which just feels cruel. That's just mean. That's just not fair. Um, Stay away from her. Get a job. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2014 one, which I can kind of get, even though I think that is also a better movie.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
I don't think it's a good movie. I said I think
Okay,
it's a better movie.
I misheard the better. I thought you said you thought it was a good movie. That was
No,
I
no, I
overreacted. I looked at the turtle's
yeah.
face and was disturbed all over again. And then I was half listening to you. So
Okay. Yeah, no. Bad
you gave
movie.
you
I
gave
kind of like
Out
the
of the
sequel, but
Shadows 3.5 stars.
yeah.
I've never seen it.
Okay, yeah, yeah, it's fine. I don't think you care for it, but like, I enjoyed watching it at the
I might have
time,
to.
and I was like,
The
yeah,
guy who directed Coyote versus Acme did it,
yeah, he's a good director.
so that might be. I might have to circle back when we're reliving all of these when we have to treat Coyote versus Acme as like a great movie because it probably will be.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Everything we just talked about is better than this movie.
I mean,
Um, Matt, what's your history with Dragon Ball?
What is worse than Dragon Ball Evolution? I'm sure we've done really bad movies on here that like I just can't think of. Like the Snowman was difficult because it's just not finished, right? Like,
Hmm.
and then there's like morally reprehensible films like North, unfortunately, rest in peace, Rob Reiner.
Yeah, R.I.P. But yeah,
Um, uh, but like a movie that was just bad. Like what have we talked about that was we just talked about the Amazing Spider-Man movies last time.
no, they're better.
Yeah, they are.
Unfortunately, they're better.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Like
Okay. Here you go. Maybe the Suicide Squad and Book of Henry, which we both talked about.
okay,
Like the maybe.
I think I would do the Book of Henry over Dragon Ball Evolution. Just because Book of Henry is so fucking weird. Like it's still
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, but it's like I feel evil. Like it feels like the evil got its residual on me after that
I
movie.
would
Like
at
it didn't
least
feel good to talk about.
but I would
Remember?
at least feel something watching Book of Henry. Like uh I Jurassic World might be harder for me than Dragon Ball Evolution. They're in the same ballpark.
Hmm.
Like I hate
Okay.
I fucking hate Jurassic World, man. Like fuck that movie. Um I think of what else is just terrible. Fast X.
No, I would do Fast X over this, even though
Fast
I also don't like it.
Fast X hurt me on an emotional level that I've never really recovered from.
No, that one took me a minute to talk about. Like, I would straight up tell people, like, no, I don't really want to talk about that right now.
Yeah,
Like, that one, that's a
it
deep hurt.
it's a franchise killer. Like it
Mm,
is. Oh, you
yeah.
know what? That guy
There's
did Now You See Me. I hate those Now You See Me films. The first one specifically might be a harder watch for me than Dragon Ball Evolution.
no.
It's a fucking
No.
terrible film.
It is, but it's not this. That's all I'm saying.
Wicked Part 2.
No, I hated that movie.
Mm, There's at least
But
songs in
no.
Wicked. Like there's at least like one or two songs you can be like, all right, I'm tapping my foot.
Yeah, what's the song that Elphaba sings when she's turning Fiero into the Scarecrow? Um,
Um,
like that she fucking kills that shit in the
mm,
movie. Like it's the
yeah.
one part where I'm like, finally I'm feeling something again, but no, like that alone puts that up like miles above this.
Mm.
I would argue about as well shot as Wicked Part 2.
Hey, yeah, yeah.
Both fucking hideous movies.
What's going on, John M. Chu? What's going on there?
I don't know. I feel bad because he's also like one of the few directors working with like a woman cinematographer, and
Mm,
they feed each other's worst instincts visually. They're like,
mm.
there's this hilarious like interview with the cinematographer, and she's talking about like, for this scene we really wanted to like bathe them in warm orange light, and I'm like struggling to see the light in the frame. I'm like, oh my god, like
We really wanted this scene to
what
look
happened
exactly like
here?
the last scene.
Yeah. And they're describing like the colors and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, they must have fallen into some like 4K UHD psychosis in that editing suite, being like, oh man, everything's like so textured and layered, and then when they export the footage in the film,
Okay,
it doesn't matter.
all right. I just went to. I can't believe neither of us did this. Um, but like I was trying to find a way to be like, what are the worst ranked films on, and Letterboxd does not have a like top bottom 100 or whatever, and like I don't know how much this really evens out, right?
Oh, I just saw something, but you go ahead. I'll fill in later.
When I went to films and I ranked them by average rating lowest first, it's Dragon Ball Evolution, baby. Like
Yeah.
it is the one. It is the lowest ranked
Oh
film
my
on
god.
Letterboxd, which I did not know. I was totally unaware of that. Um,
As you were talking, I did the same thing, and
yeah,
wow,
uh,
that
yeah.
that's the screenshot for this thumbnail now.
It's
Wow.
I mean, it's very like we're coming with this. I'll be honest. All the films where I'm like they might be worse. It's more like to me they're on par with Dragon Ball Evolution. Like I don't know if they're actually worse, but to me the feelings I got watching Dragon Ball Evolution are the same feelings I got watching something like Jurassic World. But I'm also looking. Some of these movies aren't real movies that are in the bottom, right? Like something like
Mhm.
the Melania documentary or those
Oh,
shitty,
that is there.
yeah,
Yeah, fuck yeah.
that's a money laundering scheme. Like that's just totally what that is. Someone at Amazon is laundering money. Um,
Yeah, they paid $40 million for it. That's fucking nuts.
yeah, that
Like,
well,
who thought that was gonna work? Like,
no, no
even
one,
if you're a conservative at grifting asshole.
no one thought it was going to work. Someone they're cleaning the books somewhere with that movie.
Yeah,
Trump made
yeah.
some sort of deal with Amazon, and that was their way of paying it. Like that's what happened. That's 100% what happened there. Like it's bribery going on in broad daylight. Like it is 100% what's happening. Um,
Oh, worth noting about the Dragon Ball Evolution thing. the star rating averaged out to 0.9 when I looked at it on its page. The actual average rating is 0.86.
Yeah.
The second to last worst movie is War of the Worlds from 2025 with Ice Cube. That's at a 0.97.
Yeah.
Wow. Just what are the fucking chances of that? Like,
I
this movie is that bad, by the
mm,
way. Like, there's no really talking around it. It's just nothing. It's a nothing movie.
yeah, it's one of it's baffling, bad, and bad in uninteresting ways.
Yeah, everything from like the blocking to the action choreography to the writing to the casting, which is whitewashing. Like, this is like peak like whitewashing bullshit.
Here's
Sorry, Chow
he-
Yun Fat as Master Roshi doesn't get you any brownie points. It
here's
makes me angrier about it.
here's what's so bad is that yes, that's 100% true. That is something where like I don't even want to give the movie credit for being racist. Like because because it being racist by whitewashing the cast feels like a calculated choice to make money, which it doesn't feel like ever happens anywhere in the making of this.
Ron Perlman was originally offered the role of Lord Piccolo, but
Well,
turned it down to work on Hellboy 2.
good job, Ron Perlman. All right, here's the other thing: is that this is a movie that allegedly cost $30 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, as a quote, there's actually a lot of debate about how much this movie costs. I saw like multiple. So like again, I think somewhere someone's lying because they wanted to get this money off their books. But it looks like a slightly better version of a Power Rangers episode. Like
Yeah.
I almost would give it a
Uh,
pass if it was just that. If it was like the middle episode of like a Power Rangers season, I'd be like, yeah, whatever, who cares?
no, you know what? I can't because its problems are so fundamental to its existence. Like beyond the weird decision to put Goku in like I guess an American high school or something. Um like bullshit like that. It doesn't work like on a scene to scene basis, like on a second to second basis.
Yeah.
It's it's fucking boring.
Mhm.
10 minutes into this 85 minutes with credits movie, we still haven't really started the narrative. Now, the beauty of a tight 90 movie is that you can kind of just hit the ground running. You know, you pack all the cool shit into it, all killer, no filler.
Mhm.
Uh this movie feels like a filler episode.
Yeah, that's what's
And it's the
insane.
first movie in a franchise.
Also, 85 minutes. I looked into it. It's a 75-minute movie. From the opening credits to the end credits, it's 75 minutes.
Oh, so they're lying about that.
Yeah, like it there's like an after credits thing. Did you see that with like Piccolo in a bed?
Yeah,
Like
Piccolo's alive
yeah,
and yeah, he's
which
gonna come back or whatever.
just there's no dialogue and it goes on like forever. Like it's a long scene of just nothing happening and it feels like it was there literally just to be like we legally have to make this movie longer. And its positioning in the middle of the credits feels suspicious too, that it was like you can't actually roll credits until a certain minute mark of the movie. So like there was like the pre-credits credits that was like a stopgap, and then this scene, and then they actually rolled credits, which I think maybe got it to the 80-minute mark, technically. Like, but it's a 75-minute movie in terms of plot for based on a manga that is 42 volumes long, which is doing the math is very, very long. And based on an anime, and when you add up, I think, all the episodes, you get something like 450 episodes, I believe. That's how long the anime is. And yeah, we get a 75-minute
Uh,
movie.
with Goku set in high school. Like that is one of the decisions that's just utterly baffling to me. You and I were speaking about some other stuff before the recording this episode, and there've been a couple other live action anime adaptations, and so with like these fantasy oriented animes, like there's a lot of like world building, not just lore, but like the worlds that are designed within them are so like stylistically interesting. Like everyone knows a screenshot from Dragon Ball when it happens. I just dropped my
Yeah.
notepad. That's how energetic this movie's making me. Like you recognize it immediately. A screenshot from Sailor Moon, you get it right away. A screenshot from Nichijou, you probably get now because the memes were like so prevalent at one point on the internet. One Piece is the other really popular like anime, like maybe like among the top 3 in the world, right? And the
It's
live action
arguably
one,
the number one anime. Like, it's just in terms of longevity too.
yeah. And the live action adaptation of that seems to be very successful, and most people seem to really like it. I haven't participated in it. I had like no hopes for that. I wasn't interested, and I like the 100 episodes or so I've seen of the original anime. It's just gonna take me some time to get to the rest of it. But people are really responding to it, and I think part of the reason why is that they're leaning into like the adventurous spirit of the series that people fell in love with, right? And they're leaning into like the adventure on the high seas and like the real fantasy fun stuff. So to stick a Dragon Ball story in a high school, I don't like that is just so bizarre to me. And it's clearly just studio people being like, well, you got to make it accessible to American
I don't
audiences.
even think it's that, if I'm being honest.
Okay, what do you think it is?
I think it was just make it cheaper. Like, I think
Oh,
it was.
okay. I'm sure that was a big factor
I
as
think
well.
I don't actually feel like a lot of the choices here were made for accessibility reasons, because you would have told a better story if that were the case. I really think it came down to the truth is I was actually trying to look up. Do you know what the budget for a season of One Piece is? Like, I couldn't find that just in like a real quick search. Like, uh,
No, but I'm sure it's like $150 million
yeah.
or something, which might sound like absurd,
Mm,
and it kind of is. I think shows are too expensive now, like most things in
mm,
this world. But for like a blockbuster TV show, I
yeah,
think that's about right these days.
yeah. And in my opinion, to do a Dragon Ball anything live action, in my opinion, we're talking at least like a $200 million budget minimum. Honestly, like, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a fantasy world with a lot of action, a lot of monsters, a lot of fantasy creatures. It's got time travel, it's got space, it's got so much going on in it. And also they would need to be really long to like get the stories to be just coherent, not just to like there's no way you can do the whole thing, right? I'm not expecting or even asking for that, right? It's
Yeah.
too much. But in order to just make a coherent narrative out of the material you would need, you're talking like it would have to be like a Lord of the Rings style production, honestly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you would have to do. And no studio was going to commit to that in 2009, right? And
Yeah.
it's especially not 20th Century Fox, which had a really bad track record with this kind of stuff in that era, right? Like, um, this is whoever was the head of 20th Century Fox then was like famously hated uh, all of this like type of actiony superhero stuff, but knew they made money. Um, and this is still an era where you could kind of get away with changing the source material drastically, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say like Transformers 2 years previously is a pretty good example of that, where like that movie does not really match the source material in any way. you know? Like
Yeah.
there's Transformers in them. Optimus Prime, yes, he sounds like Optimus Prime, but like who the fuck is Sam Witwicky? Like why is the setting just like Los Angeles? You know? Um like none of the actual stuff that like people, but also Transformers isn't really like a super coherent mythology from the outset, right? Or I don't even know if that was not meant to be a coherent mythology. It was meant to sell toys, right?
Hmm.
It was
Yeah, like
meant,
all those 80s shows.
yeah. And so it's like all those shows from the 80s. Dragon Ball, I'm guessing Japan's like definitely has a similar business model, but it's also got more of a narrative to it where characters change and evolve over times. Like Goku starts as a child at the beginning of the manga and has a kid by the end of it, you know? And it's his kid becomes an adult by the end of the manga. Like that that's the actual which we were just weren't doing, you know, in American animation at the time. And so I guess the mentality was they were trying to adapt it the way you would adapt something like Transformers, and it was the mistake to do that with this material.
Yeah, and the head of Fox at that time was Tom Rothman,
Hmm.
who I didn't know this, but he got his start in producing films by co-producing Jim Jarmusch's Down by Law, which is a
Mm,
great movie, but it's like, oh, that's the stuff this guy's interested in, which makes a lot of
yeah.
sense. He's now the head of Sony Pictures. He's talked a lot about like his career, and like there was a really good interview with him recently on The Town, one of the more like film like industry centric podcasts, and good stuff there, very candid. I I, uh, I understand why he's constantly a CEO of a motion pictures group.
Okay.
uh he seems to really love the industry and filmmaking and art,
No,
and
I will say
kind
like
of just seems like a guy who doesn't want to put up with fucking bullshit. And cartoons and comic books, they're viewed as fucking
yeah, I
bullshit
mean
because a lot of the time they are.
that's the thing is that like he clearly loves film. Like he wanted to make real movies is the thing. I'm not like trying to if someone who's a fan of this stuff, I do get where he's coming from to a degree, right? But
Hmm.
it was a mistake that he was at the head of Fox right when this like changeover was basically happening in the industry, right? That everyone was
Yeah.
lining up for, oh, let's like now we're gonna pivot to this superhero model. And he just wasn't having it. And
Hmm.
business wise, it didn't work out for Fox in the long term, which is now owned by the fucking Walt Disney Company. And to think they had the X-Men rights, you know, like they had X and famously, you know, I believe he's the one with the quote, which I feel like film nerds would maybe like more now, but was like got him a lot of shit from the nerd community back then. Was when they said, "What is in X-Men 3 that the fans can look forward to?" And I think he's the one who said, like, "Why would we make anything for the fans? We already have their money," which was the mentality, you know. And
Hmm.
he's not wrong.
He should also I should also note that, yeah, he's not wrong. I will be adding a voice addendum to our Sony episode, because Tom Rothman, who like he literally just got interviewed like the week we're recording this, you and I,
Mm,
where he talked about like the Sony Spider-Verse stuff, like that will come back, that will be rebooted, so that's important. um and that he doesn't like, how do I put this in a way that's like, because I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm just trying to be like candid about like his stance on movies and stuff like that.
yeah.
So he's a guy who's very smart business wise about like, how can I make decisions that will provide longevity
Mm,
for our business model, which will help the industry. So he was a guy who famously also didn't take the Sinners deal with Ryan Coogler, where Ryan Coogler would get the rights back in 25 years.
mm,
And he was like, he was right to get, I think he said like Ryan Coogler was right to get that option from Warner Brothers. He wishes that they got Sinners. They offered more money for Sinners, but they wouldn't budge on that deal. And suggested that other people shouldn't ask him for those deals if they're going to make a movie at Sony Pictures,
Mm.
which I just found like interesting. And like that I can see how people be like that's fucked up, and I agree. Like I'm glad Ryan Coogler got such a great deal, and like Sinners is on this great victory lap right now
Yeah.
because it deserves it. But I could see why, like just from a purely business sense, not that I'm encouraging we need more business oriented people, but like why he made certain decisions. So like
Yeah.
the X-Men franchise, like maybe he didn't give a shit, but he was like, we need that for the business model.
Mhm.
So let's keep making those.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have Spider-Man by ourselves anymore. So now we need Spider-Man adjacent stuff. We're going to have to figure that out and make them again.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
stupid, but I get why he is saying that.
No, no,
right?
I agree. And look, he's one of the founders of Fox Searchlight, which was like important for like indie films, right? Like, I mean, that's Fox Searchlight released some of the best films of the last 30 years, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
like you said, he's very important for the industry and as a business person, but it wasn't good for something like X-Men, right? Which you could have like X-Men could have been this great silo of money for them from a business perspective, right? You have like hundreds of characters and way many different interpretations of who the X-Men are. They could have basically been their own mini Marvel. And instead his decisions were like, well, let's just end the series and only do spin-offs going forward, right? Because that made business sense, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
I think he didn't have he doesn't have the outlook that can like look at something like X-Men and see like, oh, you can build this into something. And I'm not even talking from a like as a nerd being like, make it accurate. That's not what I'm saying. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's more just the mentality. And if he struggled with the X-Men, he was definitely the wrong person to be in charge when something like Dragon Ball landed on his desk, right? Like
Yep.
it's oil and water. It's the worst thing he could have overseen, frankly. Like it
Yeah.
was a little early for a Dragon Ball movie made in the West, honestly. Like it's just a little bit too early to even attempt this. But even if and that's considering if everyone in charge knew what they were doing, but we clearly didn't have that with Dragon Ball Evolution.
No, the closest like thing to a successful live action adaptation by that point was probably just made in Japan.
Yeah.
You know, because like the Ace Attorney movie directed by Takashi Miike, which is fantastic. Like that comes out like I think 3 or 4 years after this, maybe. And you know, obviously that's like less fantastical and stuff like that, but you know, it's not just that they're treating it with more reverence and respect than maybe an American businessman would. It's that they know what these sorts of stories need from
Yeah.
even a producer's perspective and definitely a filmmaking perspective. And you and I both praised James Wong on our Final Destination episodes because he directed the first and third films, and I really praise him even for Final Destination 3, which I've always had a really big soft spot for, because he's talking about that movie not just like as a set piece sequence of events like, oh, like let's kill people in interesting ways, like that's there too, but the way he's talking about like, okay, like we're using like a roller coaster, so how can we make this about like these characters are like on one track in life and literally having their lives like dismantled, like the roller coaster. Like he's a guy who's thinking about these really interesting perspectives on material that maybe doesn't require it, but it makes those movies better. There's none of that here.
I would
And I'm sure it's not all entirely his fault, but I do think like
I would
I
disagree
have more
a
questions.
little bit. I do feel someone trying to make this work from like in terms of like there are momentary sequences that are trying to be interesting. Um like Bulma with her like bicycle, like the reveal of that for the first time, right? Like that like unfolds and
Hmm.
stuff. Like there's a couple moments. I think Chow Yun Fat's introduction is one of those sequences. Um there are moments, but I don't know if I even was able to give this movie a fair shake because it was kind of difficult to ever separate it from the source material, right? Like I don't
Hmm.
I tried to go into this honestly being like, what if this I didn't know anything about Dragon Ball? Like what if Dragon Ball didn't exist and this is the only thing I have of it? And I was trying to engage with it on that level. And what was there was so generic, it was just aggressively uninteresting. So it was more difficult for me to give it a fair shake. And then when it was so boring, I was constantly being pulled into like well, I know a version of this exists. That's bet like I couldn't not think about Dragon Ball the whole time watching it, and I couldn't treat it as its own object. I was just seeing like Flop Sweat as a movie, you know, of just we don't
Yeah.
know
I mean,
we have
literally
this.
flop sweat.
Yeah. Oh God, that opening. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is it's just a mess. It's just a real mess. What's your history with Dragon Ball?
I maybe mentioned it briefly before, but I'll do it again because this is the episode for it.
Mhm.
I remember watching a lot of it on like Cartoon Network or late Adult Swim. I forget, probably Cartoon Network, right?
It was a
Because
Toonami
they would
thing
like edit it
first.
down.
Yeah.
Okay, Toonami, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've brought up Toonami before. Toonami is like so influential to millennial
Yeah.
vibes and like interests. Um, that's like our thing, basically. I don't remember a lot of Dragon Ball. I remember enjoying it.
Mhm.
And I remember Dragon Ball Z was the main one that I would catch. So to me, like Piccolo was a good guy. So we'll get into that in a second. And in terms of adaptation stuff. But the one scene I specifically remember, it is Dragon Ball. It's where Son Goku's like walking around with a little monkey tail, and he gets into a cab, and they're like, "Hey kid, where do you want to go?" or whatever. And he's like, "I'd like to go to Bulma's house, please." And he's like, "All right, where's that?" And he's like, "I'm not sure yet." And I don't know why, but that is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. The thought of that makes me so happy. And it's so like, it's just so lackadaisical for such a fantastical world
Yeah.
like that. That's clearly like huge. That it's, I've always found that so charming, and I need to give the entire series a shot again. Because like obviously like everyone loves like the Dragon Ball action. Like when Man of Steel was out, I remember people were like, "Oh, this is what a Dragon Ball movie should look like, not that dog shit that came out a couple years before."
Mhm.
And like, it's just it's part of like the fabric of nerd culture at this point. There are murals in Mexico of Goku. You know, Goku's Mexican.
No, no, yeah. You might actually start a fight with that one.
Yeah, maybe
But not
I'm not trying to
because
talk out of pocket here. I'm just
no,
yeah.
no, no, just because a lot of people claim Goku. A lot of different
Yeah.
groups claim Goku.
Well, Goku is the world. Goku was born in the cradle of life. He's everyone,
Yeah.
to be fair.
I mean, we all give him his energy when he needs to do the super. We all have to give our life energy by raising our hands to the sky. So technically, we are all Goku in a way.
Yeah.
Like Akira
So
Toriyama when
when
he
everyone is
died,
watching this movie,
when the creator of Dragon Ball when he died, which we'll talk about him a little bit more in detail, but he died like 2 years ago. Um, they honored him. The government of China honored him. Like some people consider Dragon Ball was like essential with bridging relationships between China and Japan, which has like always been a really fraught relationship because Dragon Ball is very Chinese inspired but made in Japan, and it's a big hit in both countries. So some people consider that it was like it helped bridge that gap a little bit, which is just fascinating. Um, And yeah, and it's arguably the anime that is responsible for anime's success in the West, right? Like
yeah.
it's arguably not to say, obviously I'm not an anime history expert, and there's a lot more examples of like anime's slow kind of growth over here. There were niche communities that really kept this shit alive, that worked really hard to spread things around. There were fan translations. But in terms of getting mainstream acceptance for anime, I think the big credit goes to Dragon Ball Z on Toonami, right? Like,
Yeah, and like to give some other stuff credit, like if you don't want to say it was just Dragon Ball and Tsunami, like I think the other what would be the other popular ones? Like Sailor Moon,
well, Sailor
obviously,
Moon gets here.
right?
So, like, this is a little bit I'm going by the Toonami lineup for like its first 2 years, okay? Like, which is when
Yeah, and that's about as much evidence as you need. The Tsunami lineup. Please
yeah,
continue.
yeah. I'll just go through a little bit, and now obviously again there are other examples right here, but like the original lineup for Toonami is Thundercats, The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, um, a thing called Cartoon Roulette, which if you're a little younger than me, right? Like, are we? I always forget our age difference exactly because this is something I don't know if anyone really remembers. Um,
I think I'm slightly younger
yeah.
than you, but I think we're basically the same
Well,
age.
Toonami had a thing called Cartoon Roulette, which was literally like they would just show a random episode of like Birdman, not Harvey Birdman, but Birdman,
Hmm.
the Galaxy Trio, the Herculoids, Space Ghost, or the original Superman cartoons, which is how I was exposed to a lot of these really old cartoons. Like these are some like the Birdman stuff is from like the '60s, and then fucking Fleischer Superman is from like the '40s. So that was airing, and that was like the only anime on that list is Voltron, and Voltron is what they used to do with a lot of anime in the States, which was just it was a massive re-edit of other anime series. Like it's Voltron is known as like Beast King Go Lion, I think is the basis for Voltron in Japan, and it was just heavily re-edited over here, right? Like
Hmm.
and turned into Voltron. So Voltron, quote unquote, doesn't exist in Japan, right? Because it's a different
Yeah.
thing here. And that was what a lot of anime was for a little bit. Robotech was eventually added to Toonami, and that's a similar case of Robotech. I believe is two different. It's Macross and something else that were re-edited that were edited together to make an original animated show. So it was two different series edited together in the States. And you know what? Guess what? Those shows are actually pretty fucking cool. Like, if you're into that stuff. Robotech was so big that there was talks for years of a Robotech movie, kind of in like the era of Transformers and Dragon Ball Evolution. Like Evolution might have been the thing that killed it, but there was a lot of talk of a Robotech movie for a long time. It seemed
Well,
like
I mean, this movie killed a lot of things.
yeah.
It unfortunately killed James Wong's
Well, we'll
career,
get back
which
to
is
we'll
unjustified.
get
He
back
he
to
was a
all
very
that. I'm
good
still talking
filmmaker.
Toonami.
Okay.
I gotta,
Okay.
I,
Okay. Go.
I
Go.
got,
Go. Go.
I gotta get this anime stuff. And then like they added Beast Wars Transformers. You remember Beast Wars Transformers?
Yeah. That's the first memory I have of Transformers. Like that kind of crummy CG in
Yeah,
hindsight,
the
which is actually like
really
kind of aesthetically interesting now.
yeah, it looks like it looks I love you you fucker. I love you had to do that. Like that is we are so
Why?
poisoned in the head that you had to be like the crappy CGI, but it's aesthetically pleasing with the given the benefit of hindsight, which is
No,
how
interesting. Interesting. I didn't say pleasing. I said
it's
interesting.
how our brains are fucking destroyed by being nerds like this. Like because we do that to everything now. Like,
Am I wrong?
no, but you are. Uh, you're
Yeah.
both at the same time. Uh, Sailor Moon ends up being the first anime added to Toonami. Sailor Moon got there first. Now, part of the reason why Sailor Moon and eventually Dragon Ball Z got on there is that I believe they both premiered somewhere else in like 1996. Um, they were both they in the United States. They both aired on a different network with different dubbing, and they were just kind of sitting on a shelf because I think the initial attempt to bring them over to the States didn't work entirely. Like it did okay, but it wasn't the hit they wanted it to be. So then they were just sitting on all of these dubbed episodes that they didn't know what to do with, right? Uh,
Hmm.
in fact, I think Deke Entertainment dubbed Sailor Moon, which is the group that's responsible for like Inspector Gadget. Like that's who did the original Sailor Moon dub, which also you can't really get anywhere anymore. The original dub for Sailor Moon. The
Oh, really? Why?
because it was not very popular. It was very different, and I think Deke owns the rights to that dub. And it's been redubbed multiple times by this point. And you know the thing about the later seasons of Sailor Moon, right? Um,
No, no. Tell me.
well, two of the Sailor Scouts that show up are they're gay. I'll just say it, like they're lesbians.
Okay.
They're in a gay relationship, and the American edit of it made them cousins, which explains why they just spend so much time together.
Oh. Oh, okay. Well, I think they're very good friends.
Yeah,
They appear to be very good
and
friends.
I there's a quote that used to go around. I can't remember who said it. I think it was a Twitter quote where it was like, "It didn't make them any less gay. It just made them more cousins." Like,
Oh no.
so, there's that, and then the final season of Sailor Moon was never dubbed over here. Um, for the initial run, Sailor Moon Super S, it was never. Oh no, Sailor Moon and Sailor Stars was the one that was never dubbed here, even though it was part of that original group. It's been dubbed since then, and it's on Hulu, I believe. You can find it on Hulu. And it's done
Hmm.
with a new cast, and it's pretty good for what it is. But the only way you can really get the original Sailor Moon's dubbing, I think, is you'd have to look up like out of print DVDs or VHS tapes, or I believe it's on the Internet Archive. Um, so you can find like the whole run of Sailor Moon, the original English dub on the Internet Archive, and then they only dubbed like I think like 2/3 of the episodes, um, which is an interesting choice. So
Yeah, that why?
no
Why
one
would you do
no
that?
one really cared back then, and then also a big part of it was there's cultural changes that had to be made. Like always ones like rice balls aren't really like a dish here in the United States, at least in that era. So they would always change it to like, I love this hamburger, but then it still looks like a rice ball. Like,
Oh my god, my favorite is the Pokemon ones where they have like those rice
yeah,
snacks,
yeah.
and then Brock would be like, "Man, I sure love these jelly filled donuts."
It's incredible. Yeah. Um, Four Kids was the big one in that, where Four Kids did a lot of dubbing like that, that is notorious for its low quality. I think they did Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, and they took out like Yu-Gi-Oh like had guns in it. Like
Oh my god! See, I never would have known.
there's a good show. Remember Bandit Keith? Remember Bandit Keith from Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah. He's like the
he's
American
the
guy.
token American because he's got an American flag bandana. Um, there's a scene in the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh where he loses the match, so he jumps up to confront Maximilian Pegasus, and if you look at the English edit, he's just pointing at him, but in the original edit, he was holding a gun to his head.
Oh.
Also, I think there's a Yu-Gi-Oh anime that was never dubbed over here. It's like 27 episodes. It's kind of like a because Yu-Gi-Oh actually has a similar thing to Dragon Ball Z. Where do you remember anything about Yu-Gi-Oh? I should before I go down this rabbit hole. Like,
I do actually. Yu-Gi-Oh was one of the big ones for me. I never finished it, but I got to when like I probably saw the 2 seasons that it was on over here
mm,
in the States. I remember the last like big tournament I saw, which is maybe why I liked it. I didn't realize I liked tournament stuff that much back then. Like the tournament's like on like some blimp or
yeah, that
something
was
like
I
that.
believe that was the second arc. That's like Duelist City. I believe is that one.
That's yes, that sounds
And I
familiar.
believe
Yeah.
that's
I
also
remember like spurts of
all right,
that.
that's also where I think I tapped out too. Like I think that was as far as I went with Yu-Gi-Oh as well. So, um, but there's like 27 episodes of a Yu-Gi-Oh almost prequel series, I guess you could call it, that had all the characters. That's why at the start of Yu-Gi-Oh, there's already these pre-established relationships, and there's like always this talk of like how Joey and the other one, the guy with the fucking whatever those guys' names were, like they originally bullied Yu-Gi-Oh. Like there's brief flashbacks to that, and I think that was the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh, the 1998 series. But I also think that one just had like so much violence and guns in it that they were like, we can't edit this for an American audience. Like they just didn't even try. And also I think the later show is where they introduced the whole like digital monster playing field, right? So it's not just cards.
Yeah, I remember like yeah, and then the dice and shit like
Yeah.
that, and yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
dice monsters or whatever the fuck that guy had. He had a whole the competing thing. First, Kaseto Kai was like a billionaire because he made the duelist thing, but he still goes to high school with these people. Uh,
yeah, that's so
yeah.
funny. I want to. Didn't the creator just pass away
Yes, we
like
also
recently?
lost the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh not too long ago. It was all around. It was kind of right in a row. We lost the creator of Berserk, and we lost the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, and then we lost the creator of fucking Dragon Ball. Like, it's sad. Um,
Yeah.
there's been an unfortunate run
Um,
of that. I think the Yu-Gi-Oh Kazuke Takashi. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I believe he it was an accident. I think he drowned. He got caught in a rip current, which is
he,
sad. Yeah,
yeah, well, trying to save other people who were caught in
yeah.
it. So yeah, that's why I wanted to mention that. Just out of respect for these guys who basically defined culture for us for a lot of our lives.
Well, no, this is the
Maybe not us directly, but other people around us at the very
like I said, I'm
least.
making this whole thing about like when Dragon Ball comes over here, like it is to me, it's the one that really kicks the door open. I think the other thing you could credit for the wild success of anime in the United States is Pokemon. I think Pokemon's the other thing. Um,
Yep.
where it was just that I don't think we can downplay how much of a phenomenon Pokemon was in like the late 90s, early 2000s, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
still popular. It feels like I think people have when hear people being like Pokemon's more popular now more than ever, which might be true in a money sense, but it was inescapable in the 90s and 2000s, right? Um,
Yeah, people know who fucking Pikachu is still.
yeah,
They don't know the new Pokemon. So I do brush up against the more popular than ever.
mm,
You're right to note the financial aspect. That's probably where it is. They make so much fucking money off these plushies
mm,
alone, probably. But late 90s, early 2000s, like, it was everywhere. Fucking mom, pa down the street knew who that
mm,
was. Or what that was,
yeah,
They knew who Ash Ketchum was.
yes.
Like,
It was absurd how popular it was. There's a fucking Norm Macdonald had a sitcom, and there's a Pokemon parody on that sitcom. So like yeah, like it like these those so I think it's the combined Pokemon probably had maybe more of an influence just because it got like it was toys, it was collectible cards, it was video games, and it was an anime show, right? So it like was able to cast this wide net, which really opened people up to this idea of anime, right? And
and I think a under discussed aspect of it is it's a boy and his dog story. It's like, hey, you get to have your own little pet
yeah,
that goes around with you and can help save your life sometimes. Apparently,
no,
you
I mean
know.
it's a combination of like that and it's the Transformers combined with your boy and his dog, really. Like you're right. It is that where it's like, here's your cute pet you get to take care of, but also you can collect them all. It's there's a
Yeah.
built-in business model and relationship for the children it's marketed towards, right? Like
hmm
it's genius from that. And then also we get like with that, we get Yu-Gi-Oh gets successful over here because of Pokemon, right? Like someone's like, what do we have that we can
Yeah.
do? Digimon. Like we're both Digimon fans, right? Like
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Sora and Tai forever.
mhm.
The show got it wrong. It was not Matt and Sora. They were wrong. I felt this way since I was like 9.
Wow, you've been holding that
Someone needs to do something
you've
about
been
that.
holding that one in.
Dude, you don't even fucking know. They're wrong. Stupid tie. It's in the movie. It's in our war games.
See this Digimon fucking holds up. Like Pokemon, I cannot vouch for Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Really. Like I feel like those don't hold up. But I threw Digimon on not too long ago, and it fucking holds up. Like
That's good to know because I remember kind of like low key being much more invested in like the narrative of that. Like I wanted to hang out with Ash and his friends and Pikachu and the new Pokemon friends,
yeah.
obviously, and the Squirtle Squad, as one does. But like I was interested. I was like, oh, they're fighting the Four Horsemen of the
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
No, Digimon goes like insane.
Like,
Like Digimon, they're like by like the end of they're like battling gods and like a monkey that sounds like Elvis and like it's
oh my god, I forgot
th-
about that guy.
there is
Yeah.
and like also it's one where like it's to me a good example of why even bad dubbing is kind of good because the whoever was dubbing it for English clearly just was like let's just have fun with it. So there's like inexplicably guys that sound like Christopher Walken. Like there is a demon who's like, "Thank you for summoning me. I'm afraid I'm going to have to destroy you now." Like it's hysterical. But it's yeah, Digimon kind of rules. And yeah, it does turn into like it turns into Persona by like the end of it, like where it's just there's just gods and just fucking massive destruction and shit. Whereas Pokemon would get weird
Yeah.
every now
You
and then, but like kind of in bursts, like
Yeah, but you're talking about like the first generation though, right?
uh,
Not like
I'll say
or are you talking like later stuff? Because I only know the first generation.
I would say, in my opinion, hmm, the first like four Digimon series. So that would be like Digimon Adventure, Digimon Adventure 2, Digimon Tamers, and Digimon Frontier. But that's also my childhood.
Okay.
So like I'm definitely biased, but to me those were the ones where I'm like, yeah, like they kind of hold up in a way. So
Okay.
uh and it takes a minute to get going with Adventure because like they kind of have to establish the world and all the stupid like here's how you play with your Digimon toys, kids. Like that's a big part of the first chunk episodes, but then once the actual plot kicks in, it's wild. So shout out to Digimon. When are they going to do that movie?
Yeah. Are you a fan of the American dub of the Digimon movie, which is three separate Digimon movies stitched together and dubbed to form a cohesive
You know
narrative?
what? I have not seen that. Um,
Okay.
well, no, I have, but I don't remember a fucking thing about it. Like it's one where like I didn't buy. I didn't revisit it because I don't think it was actually available. Like the American edit you're talking about, right? Like Digimon
Yeah.
the movie. Um, and I don't think I've seen that in a long, long time.
So because of the structure I just described, it is kind of a mess. And there's an unfortunate Angela Anaconda short film at the start of the movie. It is not like before the credits
Oh
or
my God,
before the main menu.
remember
It is
Angela
the start of the
Anaconda?
movie.
Remember Angela
Yeah.
Anaconda? Good Lord.
I never saw the show, so for me in the theater watching that movie, I was like, "What is happening right now?" um, so all that aside, it is kind of a mess. The middle chunk of that movie is 5 stars. I am not even
Okay.
kidding.
Well then
The middle,
what
like original generation of kids, is a 5 star sequence.
so is that what so was that taken from that was taken from the actual Digimon movie. What that's like 20 minutes in uh it's a 20-minute short. Um Directed by the guy who went on to make Wolf Children and Summer Wars and The Boy and His Beast. Um
Yeah, Mamoru Hosada. And no, the sequence is like 45 minutes, like 50 minutes. Like it was a Digimon like summer
oh,
special or
okay.
something like that over
Oh,
there.
oh, Digimon Adventure Our War Game. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one. So
Which he would then remake into his own movie called Summer Wars,
yeah,
basically.
you're right. I'm such an idiot. I never made that connection. I love Summer Wars, and I
Yeah.
never made the connection that Summer Wars is him being like, "This is what I wanted to fucking do with that Digimon bullshit." Like,
Yeah. No. That Digimon thing's awesome. It's just like Summer Wars is its own
no,
thing
no,
and
I
like obviously
we love
great.
we love Digimon. I think he was very frustrated working with Digimon though, and I think it shows when you consider some of his body of work. Um,
Yeah.
but
I haven't seen his last two movies, but I've been meaning to. Yeah, Mamoru Hosada, excellent
yeah, Wolf
filmmaker.
Children's one of the best movies
Um,
ever made.
yeah.
Like that movie rules.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, back to Dragon Ball Z. So that's the other element of it. Dragon Ball Z is what is the first one to air in the United States. Now, do you know like how Dragon Ball Z exists separate from Dragon Ball?
It's a sequel series, right?
Kind of. So, all
Okay.
right. So in Japan, and I'm probably going to get these details wrong, so I apologize to people who are more experts on this stuff. But in Japan, Dragon Ball is just one long continuous manga. So like it's all called Dragon Ball as a manga over there, and that includes the events of Dragon Ball Z. It's all part of the same manga. Those 42 volumes cover the anime Dragon Ball and the anime Dragon Ball Z, right? Um,
Hmm.
in but in Japan, when they were adapting the anime version of Dragon Ball, the manga, I believe there was an animation team changeover halfway through. It was kind of decided when Goku, because Goku's a child at the start. By the time of Dragon Ball Z, he becomes an adult with a kid. Um, and they were like, let's change the anime style up a little bit when we get to the Dragon Ball Z era. And part of it was to make it darker and grittier because the original Dragon Ball manga is a lot closer to a gag comic than it is action comic, right? It's sort of
Oh,
slowly
okay.
evolved over time into the more action centric story that we know now. Um, I guess maybe we should talk about Akira Toriyama a little bit. Should we go back to that, and then we'll talk about like the like part of why the choice for the movie is so strange. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that because I don't know too much about him. Rest in peace. But apart from changing the cultural landscape of the planet,
hey,
I know some of the stuff he was involved in prior and during Dragon Ball. But yeah, you go ahead. I feel like you have a stronger handle
yeah,
on it.
I'm not perfect on this stuff, so like don't quote me a ton. But he he grew he's from Japan. He was born in the 50s. Kind of right. He's kind of like almost like what Marvel was, where like that was like the first generation to be raised with superhero comics. He was like the first generation to be raised with manga, with the success of stuff like Astro Boy, which was huge over there. He was also a big fan of Ultraman. People don't realize how big Ultraman is over there and how much influence it's had. um,
Hmm.
Gamera as well. He's like giant monsters, stuff like that. He slowly becomes an artist. He like works in advertising for a little bit, but kind of realizes he hates it. He submits a like Star Wars parody to some manga magazine, which gets rejected. But they're like, "Hey, you're good at art. Why don't you come over and do stuff for us?" And he started with a doing comedy mangas, like really just wacky sort of comedy stories that weren't necessarily received very well. um, they stand out, but he was kind of his style was so aggressive for its time that people weren't totally ready for it. So he has like a bunch of like one-offs that like lasted very briefly, and then finally he has the big hit. And I'm of course talking about Dr. Slump, which I'm joking because Dr. Slump in America is kind of like if you know what you're talking about, you're like Dr. Slump, yeah, but like most people don't know what Dr. Slump. Dr. Slump was a huge hit in Japan. It's about like a little robot girl. It's a gag a minute. It's kind of like just jokey comics, but it's about a robot girl and her kind of idiot inventor father who's trying to keep the fact that she's a robot a secret. And it's mostly just an excuse to do a bunch of silly jokes. It includes a parody of Superman known as Superman. um, but uh, that lasted 18 volumes in in Japan, which is a lot, and was published from 1980 to 84. But it is very there's action in it, but it is much more a comedy series, right? And
Hmm.
Toriyama was like kind of like, I'll do this for a little bit, but like once at some point I'll have to stop, like this can't go on forever. And his editors were like, no, keep doing it. Kazuhiko Torishima is like his longtime editor, and he has a huge influence over the development of his stuff, kind of encouraging him to go further with it. Eventually, he's like, Dr. Slump's gonna end, I gotta do a new thing. That ends up becoming Dragon Ball. Now, I couldn't find anything that was I'm not an expert on this, but Dragon Ball is very, very loosely based on the Chinese story mythology of Journey to the West, which is one of the like four great Chinese novels, right? Um, which features like a monkey king, which is the basis for Goku. Goku was originally drawn straight up just as a monkey, right?
Yeah.
That was the drawing before everything came together, and his editor was kind of like, no, make him look more like a human, and then make him look like rambunctious, like he's a troublemaker, right? The
Hmm.
long and short version of everything is that Toriyama was basically making shit up as he went along, right? Like he was kind of winging it, he had like a lot of ideas, but he was mostly winging it and didn't expect Dragon Ball to last very long. It became a huge hit, obviously, but he kind of was like, okay, there's 7 Dragon Balls. We'll collect all the Dragon Balls. They collect those 7 Dragon Balls very quickly in the original series. That whole thing happens really quick. But it's all an excuse just to kind of have like a fun comedy adventure story with martial arts elements. He was trying to include martial arts stuff, but who's the big martial arts guy at this point?
Oh, Jackie
Jackie
Chan.
Chan. And Jackie Chan always infused his martial arts with comedy, right? So
Hmm.
it was much closer to that, right? Of just comedy fighting, you know? The action was good, but it was
Hmm.
very comedy fighting centric. The other one from this era is like Ranma One Half has a very similar arc with it, where it's like it's action, but it's also a comedy series, right? Um, and that's published kind of overlapping with Dragon Ball a little bit. Dragon Ball was published between 1984 to 1995. It's 11 years, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Jesus,
Yeah,
yeah.
with a mass, and they were expected to do a massive output manga artists at the time. Um, and Piccolo, the character, doesn't show up until the end of kind of what is known as Dragon Ball in the West, the kind of the midpoint, maybe not the midpoint, but like it's kind of the end of the younger Goku arc in Dragon Ball, and his arrival is kind of the signaling of that shift to okay, now it's going to become much more action centric. Piccolo in the beginning is like he's King Piccolo, right? He's not the Piccolo we know and love. Um, and he's much more of a like Saturday morning cartoon villain of being like, I'm gonna fucking take over the world. I will destroy all this stuff. Literally, or if I remember correctly, in the Dragon Ball anime, he announces he's king of the world at one point. He's like, I've taken over. As my first rule, all crime is now legal because I love criminals. Like that's the type of tone that it was, right?
That's so fucking
Yeah.
funny.
But he also straight up kills like Krillin. And
Oh
yeah,
shit.
like Krillin gets killed.
That's the little
Yeah,
guy,
Krillin the
right?
bald guy, my fucking short king Krillin. Um, I
Yeah.
fucking loved Krillin because he got with the android, like Android 18.
Oh yeah, who was taller than
Yeah,
him too?
and like
Short King
one
rep.
thing like I learned when I went to start revisiting anime, like in my late teens, is that I was always there were the women would show up that were trying to murder the characters for a little bit, and I would be like, that explains a lot about me. Like, yeah, this explains a lot. So Android 18 rules. But
Yeah, from my memory, my brief recollection of Dragon Ball. Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, similar vibe.
Yeah, I think it was also like he was bald and short, so it was like this kid. I could relate to this guy more than Goku, who was like good at everything. Krillin kind of would fuck up, but Krillin always had a heart. He was always trying. So, um, but yeah, so like, I believe he killed. He also killed Master Roshi, I believe. Um, a couple guys got killed, like in the whole Piccolo, and they kind of fought Piccolo like 3 times, like, and Piccolo goes through like multiple transformations. He is so like that's the other thing is that there's like part of Dragon Ball was being made up on the fly, so it's like there's robots, there's anthropomorphic animals, right? There's a lot of that. It's got a mix of a fantasy setting, but also science fiction setting. Um, the basic gimmick of like at the start of Dragon Ball is that Goku's just kind of like this kid with a good heart, and Bulma is kind of after the Dragon Balls for greedy purposes, right? Like she
Hmm.
wants them, like, oh well, if you get them, you can make a wish. Like that's the whole thing. If you get the Dragon Balls, you make a wish. Which again, like, how is that like the plot of an action manga? Really, like that is such a kid's story setup. And Goku in the original, he has a Dragon Ball, but it was his grandfather's, and he only keeps it for that reason, right? He has
Hmm.
no desire for the Dragon Balls themselves. He just holds on to it for sentimental value. Whereas Bulma's the opposite, where she wants something out of it, you know? And so it
Hmm.
creates a fun dynamic between the characters. So they go around and like you basically meet all the different characters because the primary characters because they all had a Dragon Ball. And there's a guy I can't remember the villain's name. He's like a little short dude um, in the original Dragon Ball who like his whole gimmick is just to get them so he can wish that he's in charge of the world. Right? That's the enemy. And
Hmm.
he's dealt with within like 10 episodes of the anime, like in terms of that arc. Um, but yeah, it starts very differently. It slowly becomes more action centric. And then, like I said, yeah, they're at the midpoint. They were like, let's up this a little bit when we go to Dragon Ball Z because we want it to be more mature. And mature action animes were getting more popular at the time, like stuff like Fist of the North Star. So they were like, let's make it more in keeping with that. And that's where you get kind of an uptick in the violence and the action. Not that there isn't violence in Dragon Ball, but it's way more pronounced in the Dragon Ball Z anime. But the interesting element of that is that most people in the West's introduction to Dragon Ball was that midpoint at Dragon Ball Z, right? Most of us started there.
Yep.
And the beginnings of Dragon Ball Z are Goku's an adult, he has a kid. Piccolo is still his enemy at the start of Dragon Ball Z. But they have like a sort of like, yeah, they have that sort of like warrior understanding of each other. Like Piccolo I believe in the opening of Dragon Ball Z, Piccolo is plotting his revenge against Goku, but then he senses a more powerful foe, and they realize they have to team up. Classic anime shit, right? Um,
Yeah, the shit we like
yeah,
love.
and all right, so, this is going to be so confusing to people who don't know Dragon Ball because I'm doing a very poor job explaining it. But
No, no, keep going. You're doing good.
but it's also this should hint why this was a bad idea for a live action movie. Um, One of the elements of Goku's character is he initially has a tail, right? And his grandfather
Yeah.
told him never look at the full moon. And we've learned because when he does look at the full moon, he turns into a giant ape. And you know, and the tragic element of Goku is that he killed his grandfather and doesn't know it. Because
Oh
yeah, he
shit.
turned into an ape one night and destroyed their home, and his grandfather died, and he didn't realize that was his fault.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. That's kind of
Yeah,
heavy.
it's and it's that's in an early element of Dragon Ball too. So hey, but uh, but you know what wasn't revealed until the beginning of Dragon Ball Z
Oh, I know this one actually.
that Goku's an
It's that
he's an
he's
alien that is part
yeah.
of the Saiyan race, and then not only that, Piccolo's an alien. Piccolo didn't know that about himself.
Okay, that one is like, come on, guy.
Well, no, because
Look at you.
there's oh god, who's because Piccolo. Oh god, I'm fucking this up so bad. I apologize to everyone who knows fucking Dragon Ball more than I do. But Piccolo is the evil half of another guy.
Okay.
um, I'm
Whomst?
trying to find that answer right now. I'm sorry.
Because I remember one of the antagonists like Cell or something like that, or Frieza. Is it
That's
any
later. That's
relation?
later. This
Okay.
guy was introduced earlier. There's a guy. I'm gonna get this wrong. I can't remember his name. He lives on that tower in the sky, like they go to fight at a lot of times. He's Namekian. He looks like Piccolo. And in the Dragon Ball universe, he's God, but when they translated it here, they took out a lot of the God references because they didn't want it to like touch on any like religious hot buttons over here, right? So a lot of the
Oh,
religious
of course
so
not.
that guy was ostensibly a god and he expelled his evil half and that's what created Demon King Piccolo, which is the original incarnation of Piccolo. Um, and that version was evil, almost destroyed the world, got sealed away, got reawoken, got defeated, but then became Piccolo Jr., and Piccolo Jr. grows into the Piccolo that we know. So there, it's simple, right?
Hmm.
Everyone followed that. Everyone understands what I'm saying.
Yeah, perfectly.
And I believe since the time I stopped paying attention to Dragon Ball, it's been revealed that Piccolo's race actually comes from another dimension.
Oh, okay. There it
I
is.
know very little about what went on in Dragon Ball Super, but like that introduced a multiverse element to it. So, because I went down, I tried to like find something that was like, can someone just give me a simple explanation as to what was going on in Dragon Ball? And it started with all this multiverse shit. And I'm like, what is happening? And I realized a lot of that.
Superpowers, aliens, multiverse.
And we haven't.
This is why we're talking about it on the superhero
Yes,
blockbusters.
whatever. Fuck off. Also, time travel.
That was my
Time
excuse.
travel shows up later. um,
Okay,
yeah. I mean,
naturally.
Trunks comes from the future. Remember?
I didn't remember that. I didn't
Oh,
know
you
that.
didn't?
I
You didn't
don't
know
think.
Trunks? That's Trunks' whole thing.
Oh,
He
all
shows
right.
up. He shows up like Frieza crash lands, and they're like, "Oh, Frieza, you're supposed to be dead." Frieza was the big bad of the previous season, and Frieza's like, "I'm coming for you." But then Trunks fucking shows up from the future out of nowhere and just fucking cuts Frieza in half with a fucking sword. You're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" He's like, "I'm Trunks. Goku, you're gonna die unless you take this medicine."
No. You know what? Fuck. I really got to get back into Dragon Ball because like all this stuff sounds like my shit.
It is, but it's also so clearly was being made up on the fly. Um,
Yeah, but like I'm
no,
okay with
I'm
that
totally cool
now.
with it
You
too.
know.
These are not complaints for me. But I'm merely doing this to illustrate how difficult it would have been to adapt this into a film, right? I think
Hmm.
one, I think Dragon Ball Z shows you totally could just start in the middle and not explain all this shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
so many of us got on board without knowing all of this backstory. And stuff that we needed to know was told in details in flashbacks. Like the whole Android saga in Dragon Ball Z is predicated on the Red Ribbon Army saga from Dragon Ball, but you didn't actually need to know what went down to follow all that, right? Like you don't actually need to
Yeah.
know what was going on. So there's like these two androids, they will destroy the world. And then it turns out, no, it's not those two androids, it was those two androids. And then I was like,
Well, to your Lord of the Rings comparison, it's like doing Lord of the Rings, but like skipping the Hobbit. Like it's okay to
yeah,
do that.
kinda. And if you were, and I will give the movie this, if you were gonna start a little earlier, it would make more sense to start with Piccolo as a villain, right? Piccolo is probably the character you kind of need to introduce, right?
Because I mean, he is an alien, but he looks
Yeah.
like very alien to
And Piccolo
audiences
ends up just having like the coolest arc of Dragon Ball Z, right? Like of just he
because he becomes like the cool badass
yeah,
uncle,
yeah, well he
right?
basically because spoilers, but this happens 3 episodes into Dragon Ball Z, so it's not really a spoiler. Goku fucking dies. Um Goku dies defending the Earth. And he's like, I'll be back because you can get resurrected in this world. But until then, we know these other Saiyan guys are going to come and fight. My son Gohan needs to be trained to fight. And Piccolo's like, I'll train him. Like, you're my enemy, but I will train your son and I will be honorable in doing that. And he just kidnaps Gohan and takes him to the fucking woods. And then fucking Piccolo ends up being a better father to Gohan than Goku ever was, because Goku was never around. So it
I remember this
yeah, well that's
discourse.
I think there's a comedian, I can't remember, who was like he was trying to explain who the Dragon Ball Z characters were to Conan O'Brien. And he was like, that's Goku. He's the world's greatest father, but not a great dad. Like, and it's kind of true. And then, the original plan for Dragon Ball, the manga, was Gohan was going to straight up replace Goku at a certain point. Um, it was setting up that Gohan would be the replacement, and I guess fans weren't as receptive to that idea, so it was abandoned. And I think that's when Toriyama was like, I got to wrap this shit up, and that's what led to the original conclusion of Dragon Ball. Um, it would have been better if Gohan had replaced Goku. Frankly, they're totally teeing that up. But yeah, uh, once again, fan backlash. Um, never helped good art.
Yeah. No. Uh, well, maybe you can help bad art by stopping it.
Yeah, possibly. Um, Now, with all of that said, and I did a very piss poor job of explaining this stuff. I guess what I'm saying is go watch Dragon Ball Z. You'll be fine. You can start at Dragon Ball Z. If you want to start Dragon Ball, you can do that too, but it's also understand it's a comedy series and some of the humor is very strange, including a lot of Master Roshi being a pervert joke. Um, that's a big thing in Japan. Not to like say it, but like
No, we don't have to get into that, but
that's
I will be honest, that recurring problem occurring in so many animes that I tried to watch
how it is.
at a younger
They
age
get a
definitely put me
they get a
off.
real kick out of lecherous old men. Like, they think that is the funniest thing you could possibly put in a manga aimed at children.
Yeah, so when Chow Yun Fat is making moves on Bulma in this movie, um, didn't feel great.
Well,
I
it
gotta
might
be
make you feel
honest.
better if when it was done in the source material, Bulma was a teenage girl.
Why would that make me feel? I know you're making a joke, but why? No, no, it's worse.
They totally had Bulma do something completely normal in order to get the Dragon Ball.
I will start at Dragon Ball Z.
Started Dragon Ball Z, everyone, because Master Roshi is barely in it. You know what? That
Yeah.
actually always disappointed me as a kid. Um, the opening for Dragon Ball Z has that Rock the Dragon, Dragon Ball Z, like that fucking rock opening. Um, and it always showed Master Roshi kicking ass, and it never happened on Dragon Ball Z. Like he kicks a lot of ass in Dragon Ball, but he never kicked ass on Dragon Ball Z. And I just remember being like, what is he gonna throw down? Like this guy's clearly he trained. They keep talking about how he trained Goku. He's clearly a badass, but like when is he gonna do it? Like, and then he never did. So
He got too canceled.
I guess he was the first victim of
Yeah,
the woke mind
the Dragon
virus.
Balls excommunicated him.
The
Yeah,
woke mind virus got Master Roshi because he was perving on young
yeah,
ladies' underwear. Um,
yeah. That's not
so
good.
yeah,
Some might even say that's
Dragon Ball
bad.
might play a little differently to some people, but there's a
Mm.
significantly less amount of that in Dragon Ball Z. There's a lot of pissing in both, though. Like they get a real kick out of showing Goku pissing in the woods and then Gohan pissing in the woods. They just think that's funny. I don't know what that's about.
You know what? That's like
Yeah,
acceptable
yeah.
as
At
you
least
know,
it makes
and
sense. Like part of the
yeah.
joke is that Goku has lived in the woods his whole life, so he doesn't know how to be a proper. Like you said, your joke that you shared about him getting in the taxi does perfectly summarize Goku's character, especially as a kid, right? Just taking the
Hmm.
Bulma's house, like where's that? I don't know, like that is Goku, which is he's just a really kind of rambunctious kid. And he kind of has big kid energy going into adulthood, right? He's still kind of that guy. He just also like he's like, I have a son now, so I know what I'm fighting for, right? So like he'll get more serious,
Hmm.
but he a lot of times he's like, hey, wouldn't it be awesome if we just fought because it's cool? Like to guys who are trying to murder him. Like he still is that way. And it's partly why I think he's able to redeem people like Piccolo, like Vegeta, right? Who Vegeta, probably everyone's first example of like a redeemed hero. Because the other thing I think that partly made anime so appealing to younger people of our generation is it was one of the earlier animated series that actually had ongoing storylines where characters changed and developed over time, right? That was kind of newer in the
Hmm.
animation sphere in the West. So, because it was so cool when you would see someone like Vegeta be the villain one year and then be the good guy and then be the kind of like guy you can't trust and then be the villain again, but then be a good guy. And, like that's awesome. Like that's the best shit ever.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm assuming the movies would have done that had it successfully launched a series, like with
yeah, I mean,
Piccolo. Like you
it
have
makes
to.
perfect sense. You could totally do a movie that is really like okay, we fought Piccolo this movie. Next movie, we fight Vegeta. We have to team up with Piccolo, right? Next movie,
Hmm.
we have to fight Frieza. So now we need to team up with Vegeta. Like that's kind of just how the series played out. But there are kind of just so many moving parts to it that to make a movie, even a 3-hour movie, would require a lot of changes just to get one of those arcs down to movie length, right? I pointed out over
Hmm.
text to Diego that the first fight between Goku and Vegeta on Dragon Ball Z is around 2 hours long, which it's almost twice the length of this movie. So trying to make that into a film would be difficult. I always felt that way. I've slowly been indoctrinating you into Yu Yu Hakusho, right? And
Yeah, which I still need to go back to. I've
you
really
do. You
enjoyed
literally
it.
left off right before it gets like awesome, like when the really awesome stuff, because it's about to begin a tournament arc. But that's also one where I've always thought about how difficult it would be to adapt that into a movie because it changes genre like 4 times in the first run of episodes, right? Like
Hmm.
it's a detect it's a go it's a, that was another one that started more as a comedy series and then slowly over time became more of an action series, right? Like
Yeah, and not like in a Surf Dracula way or anything
no.
like that. But it really took its time, and that was part of the stuff that like I was so impressed by. Where it was sold to me as like a supernatural action series in a way, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which will come up again
Mm.
shortly.
Yes.
Um, but like it the first like couple episodes, it really just was about this kid who dies and then has to earn his way back to life, and then it's like, oh, there's a catch, now you gotta hunt
Mm.
demons.
Yeah.
And it's like it was great, it was a great
I
time.
think
But that's like 6 episodes right
yeah.
there.
And it would be hard to make that into a film and then get to the fireworks factory essentially, right? To get to Surf Dracula. Like it would just
Yeah.
because the arc you're about to begin is the kind of like that is why you watch Yu Yu Hakusho, those two middle arcs. But again, it's those are the middle, it's not the beginning. So not that there isn't good stuff
Hmm.
in the beginning, it's just very different. And I believe uh Yoshihiro Tagashi, who is the writer of Yu Yu Hakusho, is very much Yu Yu Hakusho is definitely a response to Dragon Ball in a lot of ways. Like the protagonist of Yu Yu Hakusho is like kind of like what if instead of like a good guy, he was just like a punk kid, right? You know, on the streets. He's not
Hmm.
actually. And in my opinion, I don't know how many people have made this connection. I'm assuming anime fans have made this connection more than I have, but I don't hang in those circles a ton, and I don't see a lot of it out there. Hunter x Hunter is him straight up just riffing on Dragon Ball. Like it's we were talking a little bit about Game of Thrones being a deconstruction of the of like of the fantasy genre. Hunter x Hunter is kind of that for Dragon Ball Z. Um, so I guess my recommendation would be watch Dragon Ball Z, and then switch over to Hunter x Hunter at some point because goddamn Hunter x Hunter is great. Um, I mean the design,
Well, I'm gonna give that a shot once I'm done with Yu Yu
yeah. I mean the
Hakusho.
design of Gon on Hunter x Hunter is straight up just trying to be Goku, right? Like it's just a riff on Goku. So,
Hmm.
uh, and Hunter x Hunter is kind of a good example of like, hey, this would be kind of fucked up if it was real. And I will say the other thing, Dragon Ball Z also had like a big impact on me. Is like the Cell arc really freaked me out as a kid. Like, did you make it that far into Dragon Ball Z? Like, did you watch the Cell?
I remember Cell, and like the design was something I had like never seen
Yeah.
before. And that really stuck with me. And Cell goes through like different variations too,
Yes.
right? Of like
Part of
designs.
that was his editor being like, you have to make him look cooler, but also, yes, he like he
Okay.
evolves over time. Like he goes through different variations. The last version is kind of just anime bad guy, but it's still the strongest. But the first version was scary, and I know you'll like this, was Xenomorph inspired by
Yes, yeah, you sold me
because
on
he's
that.
I know he's a big fan of Alien. That's one of his favorite things. And Hunter x Hunter has a later arc called the Chimera Ant arc, which is to me directly riffing off the Cell arc from Dragon Ball Z, and is kind of incredible. Is kind of one of the best anime arcs, shonen anime arcs I've ever seen. Like, it's just amazing. So, yeah, I'm giving people a lot of good stuff to watch
Instead
instead of this
of bad
fucking
stuff.
movie.
Yeah, man. To talk about the movies a little bit more, I will talk about another movie I saw recently.
Oh yes.
I saw Chewy Hawk's The Blade for the first time, and on the big screen. Wonderful 4K reproduction by my boys over at the Big Bad Film Fest, Patrick and Powell. They rebuilt.
Arguably his best movie. Um,
I would accept that argument. Yeah, but Patrick and Powell want to give them their flowers because they rebuilt the transfer from the ground up. Because Criterion has a release coming out. Uh, they did not share their release for this showing. So they had to rebuild like the edit and captions and texture in like a week, and it looked fucking terrific. And that movie is incredible. The action is like, it's so chaotic you almost lose track of what you're looking at, but you never really do unless the movie wants you to. Like, it's so impressive. Chewy Hawk is one of the great filmmakers. Watch anything he's done, basically. Even like his stuff that doesn't really work is worth checking out.
Yeah, he's an incredible filmmaker.
But yeah, the action in that movie just completely blew me away. And then going from that first time watch to this rewatch of a movie I knew was bad, but was like, maybe there's something, you know? Especially for our generation, there's always like, look, The Last Airbender fucking sucks. People harp on how much it sucks even today. And I'm like, no, look, no one disagrees anymore. We don't really need to exert energy doing that. So sometimes I just kind of worry about us looking back at these movies that we grew up with that were like soul-crushingly bad for us, right? Bad adaptations or whatever of stuff we loved in other mediums. And I'm like, maybe we're not giving enough credit to stuff that could possibly work in these movies. Well, watching The Blade really solidified that basically nothing works in this movie. And it's a shame. Because there are talented people involved. And again, it's like James Wong, who we really enjoyed his Final Destinations. I've got a soft spot for The One. I really love Chow Yun-fat. Like one of the great movie stars of all time.
One of the just coolest,
like, just in general,
guys ever in movies, right? Like, he's just so fucking cool. Like, and
yeah,
I think I talked about this on another podcast, but like, we fucking let him down so massively in the West. Like,
yeah, this is his last movie in the West.
An embarrassing showing.
Yeah,
like, just there's no other way to put it, right? Like, it's just embarrassing, right? Like, I mean, he got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, right? Which is technically a Western release, but it's also like an all Chinese language film. Like, but like, I'm just looking, like, yeah, it's just like, as a guy who was in some of the greatest action movies of the 80s and 90s, and then it's like Bulletproof Monk, right? But
he's in fucking Hard Boiled. He's in the Hard Boiled video game sequel, Stranglehold, which I will play on stream at some point because that game is super fun for exactly 2 hours, and then it goes on for a little longer and still fine, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and then like, I think the other time we brought this up, I can't remember why we were talking, but he's in Pirates of the Caribbean 3 and totally wasted. Like, they don't do anything with him in that fucking movie. Like,
yeah, it's the big mark I have against the movie.
It's and like I said, it's just embarrassing. And then and this is it does look like this was like kind of the last thing he did in the West, and then just fucking gave up, I guess. It's just embarrassing. Like, I just don't understand how that happens. And this is, you know what? I'll give him this. He's clearly giving zero fucks in this movie. Like, he's like, I'm gonna play Master Roshi however I decide to play Master Roshi.
Yeah, he's bringing an energy, at least, even if it's an I don't give a fuck energy. It's like, it's fucking something, you know? Because no one else is giving shit in this
Mm.
movie. I like Emmy Rossum a lot as an actress. I really like Jamie Chung. That's another actor who I feel hasn't really been given um a lot of leeway in their roles. She doesn't. It feels like she hasn't had a lot of great opportunities as an actress, which is unfortunate. Uh, I love James Marsters now because I saw Buffy later in life, and I Spike is one of the fan favorite characters for good reason. James Marsters is just like magnetic to watch in that series, and Angel, where
Well,
he's in for the
he
last
was
season.
literally like he was only supposed to do 2 episodes of Buffy, and they were going to kill his character, but then they like everyone but Joss Whedon liked him enough that they were like, let's bring him back.
Yeah, that's so weird because, sorry to talk about a man who's been thoroughly rightfully canceled, but like Whedon, for the most part, I do think had very good writing instincts. He would know when to pivot, when to like expand. It must have been some personal thing. He was intimidated by James Marsters or something because I don't know how you see that character and that performance come together on screen the way he does in that show. It opens an entirely new like life to that series. It's like watching the first season I think is pretty underrated at this point, but season 2 is truly like a next level thing. Like it tends to be the one fans refer to as the best of the show. And a big part of that is James Marsden's introduction in that show as Spike. And dude, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck was his problem apart from being an asshole, but I don't know why Joss, like, I think he cornered James Marsden at one
Yeah.
point and was like shit talking him and like harassing him about like you like getting killed off the show soon. He doesn't care how much people like him. And then he's the fan favorite. People are like, Spuffy hashtag, like
Do you think that's what it was? Because Xander is clearly a Whedon insert. Do you think he was like
oh,
that weird
maybe.
about it?
Oh shit, yeah, that could be it.
That's what that's how it
Wow.
lines up for me. Like that's at least that's which is just kind of embarrassing, honestly. But like, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, James Marsden or Marsters really liked him as an actor in that show, and Angel
And I believe
especially.
just a funny detail,
Why
I
is
believe
he in
he's
this?
done voices for Dragon Ball video games and Super, the show, since the release of this film, which is just kind of funny to think about that they pivoted back to him, even though he was
Yeah,
inexplicably cast as Piccolo in this fucking thing.
yeah, because like, why? Piccolo doesn't do anything in this movie either. Like he
No,
just
he just stands there and like
stands,
is trying
and then
vaguely to
yeah,
get the Dragon Balls, but like not really.
yeah, he's saying he's trying to get the Dragon
Yeah.
Balls, and then nothing. Maybe they let him do the Dragon Ball like voices and such like that, and they're like, you can make it up to us like by doing this, which isn't on him. Obviously, he's an actor doing a job,
Who
but that is funny to think
would
about.
you cast as Piccolo? Like let's do like now and also when this movie was made. Like who would have been a good Piccolo?
It's so funny. Okay, so really quick, I do have to complain about like that AI bullshit that's popping up all over YouTube still. Like a lot of it's being taken down, thankfully, but it is funny to see like the breadth of what AI is inspired by, like modern day live action Dragon Ball Z prompt
Oh,
or whatever,
I
right?
have not seen.
And it's just Tom Hiddleston and Timothy Chalamet. Like,
I did not. I was not aware of that. I'm not shocked, but I'm also not aware of that, and that is really embarrassing.
yeah, one of them is Goku and the other one is Vegeta, naturally. But yeah, who do you get to play Piccolo? Because I'm thinking Dragon Ball Z Piccolo
Yeah.
now, where he's like he's now he's like a good guy, but he's still like
Yeah.
stern. Like who could convey that really well? Hmm. Oh, you know what? If you want to be a little safe but not like wrong, Josh Brolin. Just
Nah,
do Josh
Brolin's a little too
Brolin.
old, and he's also short.
Oh yeah, he's not a tall guy, huh? Yeah.
Um, Also, I believe the black community has claimed Piccolo.
Okay. Then okay, let's try that.
Yeah, you know
Wait,
what?
wait. I
Go
got
for it.
one. Coleman Domingo.
Oh, hey, actually might work.
He should just be in
Yeah.
everything. But
That actually might work. That's crazy. Uh,
what about
I
you?
actually, you know
Anything?
what?
Any
I
more?
asked that question and then didn't have an answer myself. I couldn't think of a single fucking person. I don't know who. It would be maybe one of those where you kind of have to go like, just get like original, like get like unknowns for these roles, and then get actual actors for the supporting cast, right? Do something like that. Hey, remember
Mm-hmm.
Kuwabara?
Yeah, do the
Remember
Superman thing.
Kuwabara on Yu Yu Hakusho, the dumb guy that's Yusuke's friend?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Same voice actor as Piccolo.
Wow. It's all connected.
What now? Once you hear it, you can hear it, but they're totally different characters. Um,
Let's try to talk a little bit about the movie, just a little bit, because I think part of the problem, apart from the setting that I just really I cannot get over why they did this, besides being cheap as fuck. Um, the action is horrific.
yeah,
It's truly awful shit, and I don't understand how or why that happened. Um, even apart from James Wong's sturdy direction prior to this movie, this movie was also produced by Stephen Chow. Do you know who
yes,
that
yes,
is?
fucking Kung Fu Hustle, like, um,
Yeah, Shaolin Soccer, which Shaolin Soccer fucking
yeah,
rocks, by the way. Everyone go watch Shaolin
yeah. He made
Soccer
like two
instead of
incredible
this.
movies, and I was like, I wonder why. Like, he never, like, I'm surprised he never really followed up. And then I looked, and there's a specific section of his Wikipedia page that says a lot of people that worked with him will never work with him again for unspecified reasons. But he's
Oh,
apparently very ego
okay.
driven. So, because it is kind of weird
Mm,
where you're like, yeah, he did Shaolin Soccer and Kung Fu Hustle, which are like two incredible movies. And he's done other stuff. Like he did a movie called The Mermaid, which was like a huge hit in China, but didn't really cross over here, right? Um, and I was like, wow, he's never. I wonder why he like never did a ton. And then that maybe explains it. So,
yeah.
um,
Also did a Journey to the West adaptation, since we brought that up
yeah.
earlier, and like the Dragon Ball
I
origins.
need to actually
So
read Journey to the West. I don't know much about it. Like it's one of those like cultural blind spots for me. So
yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like it's influenced so much. It's like we should probably have a
mm,
better understanding of the
yeah.
original text
Other
too.
than
You
literally
know.
like the monkey's name is Sun Wukong, and like I believe in Japan it's literally changes to Sun Goku. So that's how you get Sun
Mm.
Goku. So like
Okay.
that's where you get all that from. Um, but well, I think I also, from what
uh,
I went down a weird. There was a couple weird quotes about the budget, like no one really agreeing um what the budget was. Marston gave a quote at one point where he said the budget was supposed to be 100 million, but somehow they ended up at 30 million. And that might explain that
oh.
even with someone who's normally dependable like James Wong directing this, maybe whatever happened behind the scenes budget wise, they maybe like did pre-production expecting a certain level of budget, and then when they started filming, that just evaporated by the time they were filming, and then you just don't have time to really reconfigure the action to meet such a budget downgrade, right? Like that's the
Mm-hmm.
only thing I can assume explains it, because what like I'm not gonna sit here and be like James Wong, fucking one of the most unsung great directors of all time. He's made good stuff though. Like those Final Destination movies fucking work. He's a competent filmmaker, and it's just shocking how much this movie is lacking in any of that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, it was the kind of the end of his directing career. You know, he does a lot of TV directing now, but that's about it. So.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I've heard that's where the money is these days, anyways. So you know what? I hope
Yeah,
he's
good for him.
happy.
I mean,
Truly.
look, you made anyone like you said, anyone who made Final Destination 3 is okay in my book. Like,
Yeah. Um, Also, he was involved with the original X Files,
yeah,
which we talked a little bit about in the Final Destination episode. I would be ecstatic if Ryan Coogler invited him back into his upcoming reboot
yeah.
of the
What is
franchise.
that gonna
Um,
be?
Dude, I don't. Whatever he touches, I'm
Are
in.
they
You
gonna?
know, like whatever you want,
I was gonna say,
dude.
are they gonna fully reboot it, or are they gonna legacy sequel it?
I think it's a legacy thing because they just announced that Danielle Deadweiler, awesome actress, is going to be the lead, and she's going to be going back to this once defunct organization within the U.S.
Okay,
government, which is, of course, the X
okay.
Files. So,
I'm interested. Um, X
yeah.
Files is one of those things where like, as much as I love it, it's always been like kind of like uneven in quality. So I'm waiting for someone to finally crack it, right? Like,
Yeah. I don't some of that shit is so fucking
no,
great
no.
though, dude.
Some
Like especially the first like 4 or 5
But the
seasons.
funny thing about the X-Files was that literally like the episodes that had nothing to do with the overarching plot were usually the best episodes.
Yeah, like the overall myth building stuff was kind of cool to start, and then by especially by the reboot seasons, you're like, oh, you should not have hitched your wagon to
Yeah.
this shit. Like it's dead
As
in the
someone who
water and it's dragging
as someone
everything
who
down.
watched all of that reboot, it was the like, oh, this is why you can't really do anything with X-Files anymore. Like they had to stack so much at the start of that reboot to like explain the mythology of what was going on, right? Um, and then they did a
Yeah.
fucking like Mulder and Scully meet the were monster, whatever the fuck it was called, or the swamp monster. They did a funny episode like in the middle of all that, and it was like, yeah, that's the fun one. Like that's what we like.
Yeah, that's the one with
Yeah, I
Kumail,
believe
right?
so. So,
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the better standalone
well,
episodes
that's
too.
the thing. The
Um,
standalone episodes were always the best episodes of the X Files. Like
yeah.
that's just how it shook.
Yeah, do you remember the Siskel and Ebert review of that too? I think they both gave it a thumbs up, but Ebert was like really taken with the dynamics of the characters and stuff like
Talking
that. Like and he wasn't familiar with
talking
the
X
show.
Files. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that makes perfect sense because that's what was good about it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's about a 30-year
yeah,
situationship.
really, it
That's why
really
it's
it really
interesting.
is.
Whether or not that bled into real life is a hot topic for debate. Make of that
Yeah,
what you
didn't
will.
there was something going on there, right?
There's no way they didn't like. Sorry to be abrasive. There's no way they didn't fuck each other's
Okay,
brains out
well, also
like
like,
over
but it also
years.
came out specifically that like David Duchovny will fuck anything. Like, it
Yeah,
came out later that like Duchovny is just like a sex maniac person, so I wouldn't doubt that. But so that's a
and
this
there's a famous tweet from Gillian Anderson where she has a very risque dress on with a thong on one of the old red carpets, and she was like, "Remind me to tell you guys about that." And then it was like, "What do you
what
mean?" Like, yeah, she never brought it up ever again.
so Gillian Anderson is just kind of one of the like I get it, like she was fucking on the X Files, so like but like goddamn Gillian Anderson just rules in like that. She's on her stuff on Hannibal is amazing. Like oh
Mm-hmm.
god. Um, then she like
Yeah.
inexplicably became
Unfortunately,
a gay.
she wasn't Tron Ares.
Oh no, was she good in it though?
Yeah, she's fine. It's not her fault.
I heard
Like,
someone recently defend Tron Ares.
yeah, they're fucking
All
wrong.
right.
Yeah, sorry, no, that's not a good movie. Don't You all deserve better. Don't do this to yourselves. Gillian Anderson though will be in Teenage Sex and Death at Camp
Oh, right
Miasma,
on.
the new Jane Schoenbrunn movie.
Can't
Yeah,
believe she cast her.
can't
Can't
fucking
believe
wait.
she cast Gillian Anderson. Why would she be interested in casting Gillian Anderson in that movie?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, Jane Schoenbrunn could probably do an episode of the new X Files. Like now, I'm like fan casting like all the exciting
Well, that
directors I
would be
like for
this is
this.
kind of the thing we fucked up with streaming. Like we never decided if streaming wanted to be something its own thing or be television, and it kind of should have been its own thing in my opinion. And one of the ways you could have done that would be like, yeah,
Hmm.
get someone like Jane Schoenbrunn to come in and do like an episode of the X-Files, just do whatever the fuck, right? Like just go let's be like do an
Yeah.
episode, do your thing, get every big horror director right now and get them to do one episode of the new X-Files, right? Like that's
Hmm.
why don't we do that?
Yeah. Poker Face kind of did that.
Hmm.
I would argue very well, and then it got canceled. And they're gonna recast the role if they sell it to another
Is that
studio.
really
So,
how bad that went? Like,
um, speculation, but yes,
it says here they were going to
allegedly.
replace her with Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, I think Ryan Johnson's one who came out and said like they would like revitalize the show or something like every couple years with like a new lead as
Mhm.
Charlie, which I'm like it's not a bad idea if you do like a Bond thing. It's just like the ongoing adventures of this private detective in the US landscape. Like I don't think it's a bad
Mhm.
idea. I would just question the validity of that being the original intention.
Okay, okay. Was it the AI thing? I think we already talked about this. Was it the AI thing? Is that what was that what
Yeah.
did it? Or do we just
Mhm.
want it to be that?
I
You know what I'm saying? Like that just
mm,
it feels like that aligns too
yeah.
easily with what we don't like, right? Like
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That could be
it
a
could just be that they
possibility.
just don't
Allegedly, that
like
came
yeah, but it
up.
could just be
So.
like you know when you're looking for an excuse to fucking motherfuck someone? Like
Hmm.
that's what it could have been.
Yeah.
Also, someone fucking give
Um.
Peter Dinklage something good for Christ's sake.
Yeah. He's so fucking awesome
Yeah.
as an actor. Why isn't he in like everything? He was in Oh, what's that fucking show? There's a new FX show about like a private
Mm.
detective. Um. Let me find it
De-
right now. It's got like Ethan Hawke in it too.
Dexter Resurrection.
No, although I've heard that's pretty fun if you like the trashy aspect of
Mhm.
Dexter. I haven't revisited it, so I don't know. Um, where the fuck is this show? The Lowdown. He's in an episode of something called The
Okay.
Lowdown with Ethan Hawke and Keith David. I assumed he was a lead role. Apparently, I guess he's not. If you're only in one episode, so that's a bummer. But yeah, I'll watch that show for his
Yeah.
episode.
Just get Peter Dinklage anything good, please.
Yeah,
Please. And he doesn't have to be fucking Tyrion Lannister and everything. Make him an idiot or something. I don't know.
yeah. I really liked him in the new Toxic Avenger. Like the movie's like
Yeah.
fine. Like it struggles to be mean and have heart a little bit, but I liked it overall. And he's really great in it. Obviously, he gets to play kind of like a
He's
schmuck.
good. It's just the material he's been given just hasn't always been the best, right? Like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Oh my
Roofman.
god, I forgot he's Doctor
I haven't seen
Dillamond.
Roofman. People seem to like Roofman.
Yeah. I'll give it a shot. I like Derek Cianfrance. I don't love his work, but I like him.
Roofman.
Yeah, Roofman. He was hiding in the roof because he heard there was a Dragon Ball in there.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about this fucking movie, don't we?
I mean,
Justin
that's the
Chatwin.
thing. It's like you just watch it and you just
Justin
know. You just
Chatwin.
know as you're watching it. Yeah. Upcoming co-star with Emmy Rossum in the time period this movie's released into the Shameless, that very popular show on Showtime. Yeah, he's in the show for like 3 seasons, I think. He's even like her love interest, I think, and then I think he gets killed off. Spoilers for Shameless.
I've
Sorry,
never.
I don't. I didn't watch the show. I just
Same.
know of that. Yeah. He seems to be getting more TV work these days. Um, this is cool. He was one of the people protesting against that the Keystone Pipeline. Like he was on the
Good. Good.
he was one of the
That's
guys
that's
coming out
really good.
against that.
He is fucking terrible in this movie.
Yeah, yeah, dude. He's
And
awful
I
to say the
and I
least.
can't think of as someone who's never seen Shameless. I'm not sure if I've seen evidence he's a great actor.
I know people hate him in War of the Worlds too.
Um,
I don't remember enough of his performance.
that's a strange character. Um, there was a weird sense because that movie is about 9/11. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
he's the one who wants to go fight the aliens, right? Like,
Yeah.
and
We have to get back at
there
them.
was a weird sense that young people were going to be the people driving the sort of fighting. That was like a big thing in that era. And no, that's not how war usually works in rich countries.
No.
So, um,
Also, he was supposed to die, right?
I have no
In that movie.
idea. I really don't know.
Like, I'm pretty sure he was supposed to die, and they were like, "Hey, Steve, you can't do that. You got to
I
put him
don't
at the
know.
end. He's got to get to the
I really
house at
don't
the
know.
end."
That's and I don't even know whose choice that would have been if that was the choice, right? Like that could have been a Spielberg choice too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
he finally calls Tom Cruise dad at the end.
That's
He's been
right.
calling him
Yeah.
Ray, and you're like, that's what this movie was. And then,
I remember loving that movie
but
for
it's
the
a good
most
movie.
part. It's just that character
That
was,
character
yeah.
is kind of weird, and then that ending kind of just is a little confusing, and it feels like maybe Spielberg maybe lost his nerve with what he was going for with it. But like everything around it is pretty fucking great. I mean, there's a movie where Tom Cruise fucking drowns Tim Robbins and has his daughter cover her ears and sing a lullaby so she doesn't hear it. Uh, so Spielberg wasn't like afraid to go dark, but yeah. Um, he was in a movie
Hmm.
called The Invisible. Remember The Invisible?
I
I
do
mean,
actually remember that because I remember the trailers, like, and immediately thinking, man, that looks
yeah, was that one
bad.
of those ones where they were like from the producers of
Yep.
The Sixth
Well, because you
Sense?
know who directed
It's
it,
Dave S.
right?
Goyer, right? But
Yeah, our
but they were like
boy.
from the producers of The Sixth Sense, I believe, was how they were marketing it. Which one? That movie was from like '99. This is 2007. Like, and
Mm.
even then, who gives a fuck about producers? So
Yeah.
yeah, that was something. So another bad movie. And then he did a bunch of shit I've never seen. He did Chips. He was in Chips apparently. Remember Chips?
No. Oh, he was in the Reagan movie as Jack
Yeah.
Reagan.
Oh, that was the father of Ronald Reagan. Okay. That's a suspiciously short Wikipedia page. Um, suspiciously short. All the Reagans are dead. I think is Ronald Reagan's son
It's
still
probably for the
is Ronald
best.
Reagan's son still alive?
Let's see. What does
Yeah.
Wikipedia say? If Wikipedia doesn't say anything, then they're dead.
One of his sons is like went liberal.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Ronald Prescott Reagan, 67, is
Yep.
alive.
He has been an outspoken critic of the modern day Republican Party and said his father would be ashamed over the influence of Donald Trump in the Republican Party.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know
if
if that's
that's
true, but
true,
I
but
get he loves his father. I get he loves his
yeah,
dad. So
yeah, whatever. You could have a weird
yeah,
relationship with that.
that would be
That's fine.
hard. That would be really difficult
Yeah,
to love your father and your
yeah,
father's Ronald Reagan.
yeah. I mean, or if they're just a conservative asshole because, like, who plays Ronald Reagan in that movie is
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid, and everyone loves Jack Quaid, and people are like, "Oh man, he probably hates his dad." And I'm like, maybe, but the more realistic answer is he probably just doesn't talk
Yeah, he
about
probably
politics with his
loves
dad
his
or spend a lot
father,
of
and
time
then
with
there's
him.
just parts of their life they just never discuss.
Yeah, which is how most people move through the world. And I'm not even saying that's like the best way to do it. I'm just saying that's just how most
Yeah.
people do it. It just is how it usually
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. You should always have a line, even with people you love, but also not everything is worth debating.
Yes, absolutely.
Not every
Yeah.
issue is you know.
Yeah. Well, Jack Quaid probably could have played Goku nowadays.
Oh, whitewashing again, I see.
No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding. I'm kidding.
now we know
But like the
where your
bubbly.
cards lie.
No. No, obviously not Jack Quaid, but like the energy Jack Quaid brings to roles is kind of the energy someone needs for Goku.
No, 100%. Goku's supposed to be like a fun big kid, right? And here,
Yeah.
what is he here?
Well, he's monotone and talks like this, and uh, his grandpa dies, and because they're doing the Star
Mm.
Wars thing, his homestead is destroyed, which also happens in the Blade coincidentally. So you can see
Yeah.
why this keeps popping up in my brain as I was watching the
Why?
movie, and I'm having trouble
So
separating them.
why don't the henchmen? Why? I mean, not the henchmen. Why don't the bullies like him?
Oh, because he's different.
Different how?
That's what they told us.
Di-
He's different. That's a good question.
different how?
Yeah, it's one of those things where they just tell you and not show you. Like sometimes a movie's just
Mm,
bad for getting the fundamentals wrong. And this just happens to get all the
mm.
fundamentals wrong.
Yeah, like it's the thing. It's like they tried to put
Yeah,
it.
because there's no
They
reason for
tried
that
to
to
put it
happen.
in this like more formulaic box, but then they just didn't even do that well, right? Like
Yeah, because when you have like,
there's a world where I would defend this movie if it was just the aesthetics of Dragon Ball, but in a like I don't know, like let's say like a Spider-Man one mold, right? Like of just it's very
mhm.
simple. It doesn't match the source material really at all, but it's just a fun movie, right? I can see myself defending that, but it doesn't even do that well, right? And
Mm-mm. Well, because when I was rewatching it for this, I was like, oh fuck, this all just takes place in a place that looks like the
mm,
real world. And then they slowly start like trickling into the backgrounds, but it's not like intentional or like, there's no purpose behind it. It's just like, oh, now we're like in a sci-fi
yeah,
city. Oh, now there's like the flying bike or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I guess we're doing this as
mhm.
well. And it's like, oh yeah, the high school students, they're also in a secret tournament. And it's like,
All right.
wait,
Actually, I'll say this.
it's when you make those initial wrong decisions that make those other decisions feel
We get a
stranger.
brief moment where Chi-Chi is in a tournament in this, where she fights Mai, the henchwoman, who is like
Mm-hmm.
incredibly loosely based on a character from Dragon Ball, and I mean very loosely, like even by this movie standards, loosely based on a character. Uh, and that was like I think the one moment where I'm like, okay, I'm locked in, and I think that lasted maybe 20 seconds.
Well, it's the best 20
And she
seconds of the
stole her
movie.
blood, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like, why'd you fight if you were just gonna
Yeah.
give up or whatever?
That's a thing. What that's a oh, I always hate the like stealing the blood plot device. I think that maybe happened a few times on Dragon Ball, but like that's just here. Ugh. So it's
I mean, we're coming off of the Sony conversation, and so like the residual Kurtzman and
yeah.
Orsi blood talk is just like hanging over
Mm.
this now.
Wasn't that the plot? Remember that Dead or Alive movie? Was that
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard defenders of that.
um um I mean, look, man. It's an excuse to watch sexy women fight each other. And
All right, Corey Yun directed
yep,
that, so I mean, I'm willing to give it like a genuine shot.
there's moments of that movie that look like they cost like $3. There's like some really bad wigs and stuff like that. There's some very bad continuity in the movie. But it has its moments. But it's really just an excuse to be like I believe there is one scene where the camera is doing like, God, like it's like panning across like to show, like a kind of a standoff between two lady fighters, right? And
Hmm.
in the background we have the one woman sitting there, and the foreground is just a woman's ass in a bathing suit. Like that's like the whole frame of the shot.
Look, I'm not saying that's okay or acceptable. Have you ever seen footage or played the
No,
Dead
it
or Alive
captured
franchise?
exactly what those games are.
Yeah. In some ways, it's the most accurate video game movie
Yes.
adaptation.
Um,
Is that a good thing? Not for me
not
to
not
say,
not
but
totally sure what to say, but the villain of that movie was played by Eric Roberts, and I believe his scheme in that movie, because it doesn't matter. He's like he's having them fight so you can record them fighting, and then all their techniques will be put on like these glasses that you can wear, so you will now know how to fight when you wear those like these high tech glasses. Because that's how that works.
all right, man. Whatever, dude. Eric
Yeah.
Roberts, my fucking paycheck king. He'll do, yeah, he'll do the Dark Knight, and he'll also do, what's that
DB,
fucking
DB
franchise with
Cooper.
my doctor
Oh yeah,
stalked
he also
me?
did DB Cooper versus Bigfoot. He's the voiceover in that, which is just basically
Oh, okay. He's just a voiceover. That's
and that's
fucking
basically just an excuse to watch
nuts.
shirtless men walk around. That's the whole point of that movie.
Yeah, all
So,
right, man.
uh,
Oh, you got Dead or Alive, and you got your
yep.
shirtless men.
See, the industry is equal.
Yes, we
We
solved
solved
sexism.
sexism. Thank you, Eric Roberts. All right, all right,
um, yeah, wow,
all
what a
right. Chi
guy.
Chi, Chi Chi in this. What's her character? Break it down.
Okay, so this is actually funny. She's sort of like the girl next door, but she's also like, she's got to be the girl that's won as a prize in
Yeah.
these traditional American like comedies, romance things. Um, and then she just kind of pops up whenever you need a little exposition
Mhm.
dump for the next step or the next act of the movie, basically. That's how she's kind of reintroduced in every act.
Dad is the Ox King, and here
Yes.
she's just the girl. She's always
Yeah.
yelling at Goku and shit in the fucking show. What the fuck?
Yeah. Was it the last Airbender movie that also like it made everyone feel like they were tranquilized before giving a
I
performance
think
a
so.
little
That's a
bit?
that's a pretty good example of that.
Yeah, it's the same problem here basically. This is just worse and looks worse.
Like Big Lebowski era, John Goodman could have played Ox King.
Oh my god. I don't even remember what the Ox King looks like, but just the name alone and you saying John Goodman after that, it just sounds
He looks like
correct.
John Milius, is what he looks like. He looks,
Beautiful.
and
Yeah.
what's
John
funny is
Goodman.
he looks like a fucking weirdo fantasy character on Dragon Ball, and Chi Chi does too. And then when they have kids, he's just like a grandpa with like suspenders and like glasses, but he still has his Ox King
Oh, that's fucking
antlers, and he's always
awesome.
coming over being like, "I brought gifts for Gohan." Like,
Well, that's what
yeah,
grandpas do.
it's the best. The evolution of the characters on Dragon Ball is incredible. I love that show. It's the best.
See, I can't talk about this with my family because they're not
Hmm.
fucking losers who watch Dragon Ball like me. But you just saying this, I'm like my godson's grandfather on his dad's side. I'm related through the mom. His mom's my cousin. But the grandfather, he does the same thing. He brings toys for my godson all the
Mhm.
fucking time, and it's makes him so
Mhm.
happy, right? Rightfully so. And so for my godson's birthday last year, or was it
Mhm.
Christmas? I forget. But I got him this truck, and the grandpa always brings him like cars and trucks and stuff like that. My godson loves trucks, but he was only playing with the truck
Hell
I got
yeah.
him. So I got the win that day.
I'm so
Yeah, take that,
here's the thing,
Ox King.
I'm fucked for life because I don't want to be a father, but I want to be a grandfather. Because I want to be the guy that comes in
Okay.
and just gives the gifts and is like, hey, like the fucking grandfather from fucking Princess Bride. So I guess I just got to settle into being the fun uncle role. It's like I'll watch the
Yeah.
kids and then I
Or why don't you
show
just
them.
adopt a
I'll watch the
grandchild?
kids and I show them Alien 3. Uh,
Jesus
yeah, that's what
Christ.
uncles do. They're not responsible.
Yeah, I guess
You
you're
had me
right.
watch them. That's your fault. You thought it was a good idea. Well, here's one thing that's kind of
Yeah, I
cool.
got to get this kid off the Jim Carrey
Oh
Grinch.
boy. Well, here's something interesting. I
I
have a
know.
younger brother he's 10 years younger than me. There's like a big gap between us. And he found Dragon Ball Z like totally independently. Like I just came over one day and
Wow.
he was watching Dragon Ball Z and I was like, dude, you don't understand. This was my childhood, man. Like, and I was just crazy to me. So it still has this reach. So go get that fucking kid. Show him Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, maybe that's how I get back
Yeah.
into it too.
It's a good
And then whenever Master Roshi pops on screen, I'm like, and you
yeah,
don't do
don't do what
that
he's doing
ever.
ever. No, he's a bad man. Bad. I don't think I can't
I'm gonna have to fan
it,
edit
I
this
don't think
shit.
from my in my memory, I don't think there's that much pervert stuff in Dragon Ball Z. There's not like that pervert humor, right? Like that I
Hmm.
can think of off the top of my head. It's more of a Dragon Ball thing. Um, anyway, Bulma's here. I mean, Rossum.
But yeah, Bulma's here. Goku doesn't ask how to get to her house, so that's why I
Yeah.
hate this movie.
Um,
She shows up at his house.
yes,
It's
they
all
do it
wrong.
backwards. Those fucking idiots.
They did it wrong.
That's why this movie failed. That's why it was
Yeah.
wrong. Who else is in this fucking movie? Yamcha.
Yamcha, who I don't
You
recall
don't
from the
remember
show.
bitch ass Yamcha?
Not really, no.
He was kind of an antagonist initially. Like he was like a bandit, if I remember. Um, he was a bandit. He had like a cat sidekick who could transform into things. Uh, and but he had a crush on Bulma. And him and Bulma have like this on again, off again relationship, right? Like I think in
Hmm.
the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, they might be like they had just broken up again, but there's always like, oh, they'll get back together. They're a couple for life. And then you know who Bulma ends up with, right?
Oh, it's
Yeah, she's with
Vegeta, right?
Vegeta, which is a wild pivot. And I think after that, they don't know what to do with Yamcha. He was kind of
Aw,
like an arrogant,
poor Yamcha.
handsome rival to Goku, who is like just kind of like a goofy kid, right? Like like Yamcha
Hmm.
shows up, he's like, "Oh, I'm the cool. I know what I'm doing." Like fucking, and Goku's like, "You're dumb." And that's the dynamic. So he's like, kind of helps him, kind of doesn't sometimes. Uh,
Well, see, that's something you could like adapt more into a movie too, because after Bulma gets with Vegeta, then you can give him new material where it's like, okay, then who are you without
yeah,
like this other shit? You know, you can
yeah.
explore that,
I mean,
which obviously never crossed these
Dragon Ball
people's
does
mind.
run into a problem whereby like even by Dragon Ball at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, they had so many characters they didn't know what to do with all of them. Like there is a point where they're like some people just disappear for like hundreds of episodes at a time.
You know what? There's a real beauty to that, in
No,
my
there's something
opinion.
to it. When were they going to get to Mr. Satan? You don't remember
What?
Mr. Satan? Well,
No. Does he
no,
look
he's
like
not. He's a
Satan?
wrestler.
Oh,
He's
okay. Sure. Why
if I
not?
remember correctly, they kind of made him sound like Hulk Hogan. um, was
Perfect.
like and like he was one who was like, I'm the best fighter. And the world loves him because I think he's the best fighter, but he usually is like a coward and runs away. But he has a good
Oh,
heart. Like it's one of those where like he ends up like doing like the right thing occasionally. But it's a very funny character. I like Mr. Satan.
you see, I want all my wrestling characters to sound like Macho Man
Well,
Randy
maybe it was
Savage.
Macho Man was more what he sounded like. I could be blending both of them. He was generic wrestler.
Hey, Goku, you're going nowhere.
Got you for 3 minutes. Man, that's one of the best things ever to
It's
happen
a
to
nice
cinema.
outfit. Oh
Bonesaw.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Bonesaw is
What are you
ready.
doing up there? Oh god, fucking Macho Man, rest in peace.
Yeah, and then Spider-Man gets homophobic
Yeah,
for a second because
it
it's
was
2002.
2002. Maybe he was
Yeah. We're just getting over
Maybe he was being
9/11.
honest. Maybe he was like, "Did your husband make that for you?" Maybe it was a genuine question.
I know, yeah, everyone
Yeah,
assumes he's
you're the
being
ones that are
homophobic. He's like,
homophobic.
no, I like the outfit.
Maybe in the Spider-Man universe, he's Bonesaw is gay. Everyone knows this, and he was just like making. He was just teasing him on a different level.
Yeah, and you know what? Spider-Man hasn't made his official suit yet. He's asking for
Oh,
tips
you
and
know what?
advice.
Peter Parker, he was actually a gay ally in that moment. Like that was actually just it was trying to bridge the gap, and I don't think it would be too much of a stretch to say that that moment is responsible for gay marriage in the United States.
Yeah, it's that moment in Spider-Man, the release of I Now Pronounce You
Yeah,
Chuck and Larry,
SpongeBob.
and
Like, remember
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob made the kids gay.
Yes,
Is there a
yeah.
conspiracy going around right now on the right that our headphones are what are making us gay? There's a
I haven't heard this, but I
there's a
wouldn't be
chemical in
surprised
our
at all.
headphones that is making everyone gay. That's how that works.
It's fucked up that that's so funny because like these people actually believe that and it's like dangerous to
Yeah, no,
society, but that is fucking
it's
hysterical.
hysterical, but they're also bad. I mean, it,
Yeah, no, that is dangerous. We're gonna have to deal with that very soon. Otherwise, we're gonna have another Pizzagate situation on our hands. But oh my god, that's of course.
they just should have listened to Bonesaw. He was ready.
I think we're done with this movie.
Yeah, is there anything else to talk about? Shit happens in it. It doesn't matter. What do the Dragon Balls do? Who cares? Uh,
Um, I don't remember if this is in the show, but it kind of threw me off for a second because the effects aren't very good. When Goku's like showing Bulma like, no, this has 4 stars on it. The one you're looking for has 5 or whatever on the Dragon Ball, and the stars like kind of move around, almost like they're like a magic
mm,
8 ball. Does that happen in the show? This isn't
I
important.
don't
I'm
think
just
so.
curious.
I have no memory of that.
Okay, all right, because I could kind of feel like, oh, that would be kind of a cool effect. But you know, everything in this movie looks so bad. Again, presumably because the
Yeah,
budget got slashed so fucking severely that you just can't come back from that.
that's just a guess.
Like to go from 100 million to
That's just a
30,
guess.
like if
Yeah,
that's
like I said,
true,
Marston kind of said he kind of said
fuck.
like there's Marston told TV Guide that that the budget was originally 100 million. Another television station said it was around 50 million. And then Marston later claimed it was 30 million. And the official budget listed on Wikipedia is 30 million. And that could either be the budget was massively slashed or there's some lying going around to kind of get some tax incentive somewhere, right? Like who knows? Because I think it was just it could just be a
Yeah,
producer situation where they're like, no one cared about this movie. Let's just unload all our bullshit onto that, right? Like, eh,
yeah, yeah. Well, with Hollywood producer math, this movie probably broke even 7 times
exactly.
over. Who fucking knows how any of that shit works anymore?
That's what
Hey, you know Brett Ratner was originally announced as the
that
director and
makes perfect
producer?
sense in this era.
And specifically with what we're talking about, considering that's the man who just made the
Yep.
Melania
And
doc.
I mean, look, he's in the pocket. Like this is, I'm not even just joking. Like this would have been 3 years after X-Men: The Last Stand, which was he was kind of brought in by Fox to be like the pinch hitter on that, right? Like that was their choice for it.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in that universe, that piece of shit. Um,
Yeah.
it's just weird that like, all right, so like this is that era where just movies looked like this for a little bit, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's and we can only is Transformers to blame? Who's to blame for it?
Uh it's probably Bay,
Hmm.
unfortunately. Because of his like really overexposed highlights and like crushed blacks and stuff like that. Like a lot of movies, the highlights are really blown out in this era, and that's kind of where you
Oh my
get like
God.
the that crunchy new metal aesthetic, you
I
know?
just learned this is also the same year as another similarly disastrous release, Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, which I don't know.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
same year.
Oh.
which is another just like holy fuck, like what happened here type movie. Uh,
Yeah. All-timer Chris Klein performance in
yeah, you
that.
mean the movie that like basically ruined his career forever? You know,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, never a fantastic actor. He seems like a decent guy. Um, there was a bit where, like, because I was with that Flash show for about 6 seasons, right? And I'm a defender of some stuff that happens later too. But like, he's the antagonist for the fifth season of the show, and by season 4 and 5, there's two big problems with the Flash. Season 4, the main plot sucks, but the villain is
okay.
awesome. Season 5, the main plot is awesome, but the villain sucks. And you might think like, well, you can probably deal with that, but the amount of shit that has to cross over in terms of character and narrative with those hangups, like it just becomes kind of like indefensible at certain points. Now, I'm bringing this up because Chris Klein's the antagonist of season 5 for the majority of it. And he's playing a kind of interesting character who's like a guy who's like broke, down in his luck. His sister, I think, dies, and he's got to take in her daughter, and he can barely take care of himself, and then like the metahuman shit happens, and his adopted daughter goes into a coma, his niece goes into a coma or something like that. And then, like, then it becomes like complicated, like, oh, he's like, fuck metahuman stuff, right? It gets a little simplistic, but there's like an interesting background there. And Chris Klein just can't, like, he just can't hit
Yeah.
those marks, And it's just a guy, you see him like corpsing
that's a
on
shame.
screen, and it's a shame. Yeah. But then they reveal like, oh, it's all a master plan by Reverse Flash, and then the finale's fucking awesome, and
Okay.
and then the show is never that good again, but that's okay.
This is also someone where he was literally like he was not a professional actor. Like they just found him for election, right? Like, isn't that the story with Chris Klein?
It really? Okay,
I
I didn't
believe he
know
wasn't
that.
a professional actor, and they just kind of found him, and then he had election, and then like American Pie, like immediately after. And so it's like, well, you're a movie star now, kid. And then I just don't think they knew what to do with him, really.
No, but you know what? For this era that we're talking about, between like 1999 and 2009, he is kind of perfect. Like that is like a look in Hollywood that he
Yeah.
was filling. He was kind of the forefront of that. Now I say 2009 just because I'm like, okay, that's about 10 years, 1999, 2009. That is, and I forgot that's when Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li came out, and he doesn't really have a major career after that. Oh, he was in the Fear Street Prom Queen movie, which is
I've
awful.
never seen it.
I forgot about that. Oh yeah, it sucks.
But like
He's just in it. I
they had a
just saw
minute there
that.
with Fear Street.
Sorry.
They made that 3-part Fear Street thing for Netflix, and people seem to like it for the most part. And then now,
Yeah, no, those are solid. They're fun, like baby's first slasher type stuff. And I'm not saying that to be
yeah,
like diminishing it. I just mean like they're good
yeah,
gateway
people,
horror
people
stuff
need stuff like that. That's
for
kind of the
sure.
pocket of Fear Street and Goosebumps. So
Yeah, yeah. I always forget it's an RL sign thing. Yeah, and Prom Queen is awful. And there's this whole other thing. I'm gonna complain about this because we don't give a shit about Dragon Ball anymore. But like the Fear Street movies, they were directed by a woman, the first three. And that was kind of the big thing, right? It was like, oh, look, we're giving like a female filmmaker a huge swing. Lee
oh,
Janiak is
that's
her name.
the one who
Um,
divorced the Duffer, right? And
yes,
all right,
yeah,
I gotta ask you this: Is it? Do you think it's true that part of the reason the Stranger Things had such a decline was because of that divorce? There's a lot of
possibly.
chatter online about that.
There is, and at first I wasn't really hearing it out because I think season 4 is the
Mm.
best, and she wasn't really involved by that point either. But then I saw season 5, and like I really liked the ending, but um, boy, they it's like they forgot how to like structure narrative engines, which was never the problem of
Did
that
you just
show
say
for the
you
most
like the
part.
ending of season
So
5 of Stranger Things?
Yeah, the last like the
Are you
epilogue
ready? Are you
in the
ready?
finale, which is
Are
like
you
an hour
ready to
long.
be killed on the street?
Yeah, no, I know where people stand on it. Yeah, I thought it was sweet. Sue me.
I might actually, now that I think about it.
And
Like, can I?
okay,
Can
well,
I?
anyways,
Like,
no, hold on. So Fear Street was gonna be like a franchise that women directors were gonna get to really shine in, like Chloe Okuno, who directed
mm,
Watcher, which I think is a very underrated recent horror movie. She was lined up to do Fear Street
mm.
Prom Queen. Mysteriously, after a certain point, she was no longer attached, and then they announced that um, they were making the movie. It got the official green light, and then this guy Matt Palmer got to direct it, and then it sucked. So good job, everyone. And before anyone's like, well, maybe Chloe Kuno is difficult to work with, I have lots of secondhand knowledge from plenty of people that have worked with her or know her, and I've heard nothing but like great things about her. It sounds like she's having trouble getting stuff off the ground, but I've heard
But what
really wonderful things about her as an artist and
divorce
someone
from
to
her?
work
What
with.
happened there? Like, what? Like, I get like, okay, maybe she doesn't do it, but why now is this guy who's never done anything did it?
Yeah, I have no idea. Um, I
Like, that's
truly
very
have none.
strange.
Yeah, well, it's a good question. One we should keep asking. Chloe Okuno though is directing something called Brides, which is about the brides of Dracula, I believe. So
All right,
I'm
we got
game.
another more
Looking forward to
Draculas, more
that.
Frankensteins. It's all over the place.
Yeah. Hail Ratma.
Fuck everyone.
Yeah. Um, Bad movie. That's why we talked about other stuff. Yeah, not to be like mean, but like surely just one of the biggest piles
Yeah, there's
of shit
nothing.
ever released in the theaters.
This is an embarrassing film for everyone involved, and I think people. It does have the vibe of a movie that just realized fairly early on they were not going to achieve anything of note, and just were like, let's just get this over with, right? Like it just
Yeah.
feels like everyone gave up. Yeah. So it's a shame, but it does happen.
Yeah. Again, it's probably the reason why there's not a lot of live action
Yeah,
anime adaptations
the knock-on
anymore.
effect of it is kind of fascinating in terms of that because we're kind of at a moment where I feel like I feel like the One Piece thing might be cracking that, right? Like, and like there's
Yeah.
been like some news lately about like, oh, there's live action anime in the work. There's more of that. There was a Yu Yu Hakusho live action thing, but it was made in Japan, but it was a co-production with Netflix. I didn't watch it, but I saw that they were doing that. And I guess there's just been, and I think the other thing that's kind of like kicking this door open is the success of Godzilla minus one, like which I think
Oh, you
Godzilla
think
minus
so?
one is being a huge influence. The Boy and the Heron being kind of like a surprise, massive box office hit. I think it's doing a lot. And then there was the Demon Slayer movie making like a shit ton of money. Remember, like,
Oh yeah, that
yeah,
made so much fucking
yeah,
money. That was
like a big five
crazy.
hundred million dollars.
The weekend it opened, I was fuck, I don't remember what it was. It was a friend's birthday or something like that. And there's for people listening who know the Burbank 16, free parking in Burbank. That's awesome. I was like, why is it so fucking packed? Like usually, like okay, it's the weekend. There's other stuff to do in that area, so I get that. But like, it took me like almost half an hour to find parking in a place that that doesn't
Yeah,
happen there. And it was the weekend release of this
yeah. I
fucking
mean,
Demon Slayer movie, and they were all
when I go to
there.
see anime re-releases, it's usually got a very big crowd. Like, and hey, from last year, the fucking Chainsaw Man movie made $174 million. Like, that's pretty good for an anime film. Like,
Yeah,
so like I think that's slowly being cracked. Now, how that will look in the wider culture is yet to be seen. Um, I'm a little nervous. Um, it's kind of like waiting for like the Final Fantasy VII movie that will suck eventually. Oh, that's the other thing. I forgot to mention
They're
with
not doing
Akira
that
Toriyama.
shit.
He's kind of responsible for JRPGs in a way. Like he did the art for Dragon Quest, which is some people consider the first JRPG. Like
Yeah. I remember this
mm,
coming up before.
and Chrono Trigger, which some people consider the greatest JRPG of all time. So, and those character designs do look very Dragon Ball. So,
Yeah,
there's something. If you want something fun to do, go play Chrono Trigger.
well,
Game rules.
yeah, do that. Matt, thanks for joining me. People can find our stuff down in the descriptions below. Links to mostly Blue Sky and Twitter, YouTube, streaming. Streaming will happen more. Day of recording, I will be streaming more Resident Evil 8, but by the time this episode goes up, I'll
Well,
be done
thanks
with
for
Resident Evil
telling
8. So go
me,
check out
your
those playthroughs.
co-host, who's been asking for you to
Well,
tell him when you're going to be streaming, and I never seem to be told. So,
well, I thought I was gonna have more time this week, but thankfully I got very busy in the first half of the week. But now I can finish my stuff from home, so I'm doing that later, and I will let you know when I go on, and I'll text you. Or I mean, we'll talk about it right now when I'm done recording the episode. But yeah, I'm gonna try to finish that, and then yes, I will. I'll try to bring on Matt because I need
yeah,
to
we'll
figure out
figure
how to
that
do
that's
that.
going to take more
Basically,
work
with
on my end
streaming.
to figure out, but we'll eventually get something cracked. So, and as of right now, Discord just
Yeah,
walked back their stupid fucking policies, so that's good.
yeah, we got to keep
Keep
bullying the right
bullying; it
people.
always works. Always.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. We have been professionally unprofessional.
Kamehameha.